Hello and welcome aboard. I have to cover my screen temporarily because a little bit of login information popped up. There we go. Now we're back with another stream. How is everyone doing? Wow, I don't listen to Nickelback. I don't even know what that is. Artemis is like, what? So today is going to be a chill and chat stream because, well, just need to take it a little bit easy because I need to do more work stuff later. So just going to fill out the time. We're going to talk about some stuff coming up because there's actually a lot of cool developments that have been actually happening. And a lot of interesting things. We live in very interesting times, sadly, but also not so bad, actually. So, what are we going to talk about first? The first thing I kind of want to talk about and get out of the way is, you guys all know, next renewal, a final one, hopefully. Well, actually, no, wait, no, let me retract that statement. The next renewal is next month, so things are going to be a bit hectic for one more month, and hopefully it'll be a solid renewal, or it won't be, you know, one of the two. He listens to Weezer. Wow, Chad, I can't believe you. I can't believe you'd say such weird things. I can't, chat, but at the same time, I'm not even surprised by the chat. I expect the chat. I denounce the chat. I punish the chat. Beat them frequently. That's one time where I just cannot find... You know, I kind of hate YouTube's change to the layout. There we go. That one's posted on Robert's channel, but let's give Robert some view time, shall we? He's our composer anyways. There, we got background music. Perfect. The end time's probably not, though. Yeah, that title is basically just talking about, because it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's happened so many times, I don't really know if I should really believe it or be really worried about it. So as you know, contract renewal happens again next month. So one more month of pay, one more month of full operation. These are the slow months for YouTube. These are the shitty months generally. So we just need to chug along through, and we're chugging along through quite nicely. Lots of progress, and there's actually lots of stuff I want to talk about in regards to the channel, as well as, you know, possible future things. But that's just the one thing I wanted to mention. The next thing, goddamn Boog, donates 20 tacos to say, react to Rescue Rangers trailer. That is not enough to get me to do a react, you sick fuck. I'm not a react channel. Thank you for the super, but I refuse to denigrate myself to that level. I am not a cheap whore, if nothing. If nothing else. Is this the song you shared with me before? I mean, maybe. This is one of the combat tracks for a game. We only have 2 available tracks that are public right now. We've got cover art coming for the game. That's next, and the website is also next. Lots of progress and other things. But one thing I want to talk about briefly is the website, right? What is the website for? Well, right now, not a whole lot. How long can we expect before we get the website? I don't actually know. I'll have to consult the programmers. They assure me it won't take too long, but one thing that I know for certain will take long will be the art side. Because I want to plaster the channel in nice art so that it's all covered up, not looking rough. The website itself should be relatively easy to put together, all things considered. So that's good news. The only thing that'll take time will be the art, getting allocated art, which I've already have Indio working on, an Aria, and I, and an Ezra for the miniatures for the characters for the video game that we're going to have made next, because we have the whole miniature thing. We're going to be putting together the tabletop war game. That's going to be difficult. Boog says, it's okay, I'll wait till you're desperate enough. Listen, 20 tacos is not desperate enough. Mr. 20 tacos. Thank you for the super. Artemis Fowl donates $5 to say, react to the Gay Rescue Rangers trailer. I refuse. I refuse. I am not a react channel, guys. You are trying to turn me into some sort of filthy, low-grade content channel. And I will not be brought low, chat. My tisms are high grade. The highest quality, in fact. Thank you, Twitch, for... Okay, you did update Twitch. Stupid Twitch. Stupid Twitch. Do you plan on hosting the website in your home, or are you going to rent server space for it? I'm gonna let the programmers handle it. Kidding. I've got the domain name secure, but we'll probably have some dedicated servers for it and stuff like that. Sounds suspiciously like capitalism. Didn't you know profit is theft? Yes, and I'm gonna steal from all of you. Now, in regard to the website's first goal initially will be to start selling the miniature STL files so we can start generating revenue. Why? Because the miniature thing is an extra cost thing, and so far it's just hemorrhaging. I mean, the game's development is hemorrhaging. Everything's hemorrhaging. There's very few things that I'm doing that are generating revenue when it comes to the actual studio itself. The studio is just operating on net losses because we have nothing to sell. I'm trying to turn that around, because there might come a time when the miniatures might actually be a new method to bolster sales and to basically start funding the game in alternative methods. So the miniature idea is actually quite good, and I'm glad everyone we have on the team is on board with the idea. Artemis Fowl donates $5 reduce. Say, admit it, you are a furry and you listen to Nickelback or React and the Gay Rescue Rangers trailer. No, I'm not a furry, and no, I don't listen to Nickelback and do reacts. All these things are false, and there's nothing you can do about it except cry, pout, let your nose run with boogies, things like that. I'll buy minis to keep this train rolling. Oh, so in regards to what we're selling, we've decided against doing the logistical system for selling miniatures, right? We're not going to be selling miniatures. What we'll be selling instead will be an STL file. And I do want to make that very abundantly clear. Even in this early stage, you'll know because the website will even tell you as well of what it is exactly. And we might include some instructions or a link on how to use STL files. It'll have the professionals input in there so people can be like, okay, who can you go to get these professionally printed, or if you have a printer at home. What I want to sell the STL files. So let's say I sell Rhea or Nezra, you can print as many as you want. So if you want, 4 of them, you can print 4 of them. You want 100 of them, you can print 100 of them. If you redistribute, that's one thing we're going to have to talk about. Redistribution, no. We're already being extremely lenient with other things, but redistribution is just like, don't do that. That's sketchy stuff, and that is where things fall into the no-nos. But if you want to print out like an Astrian cohort and you want 7 of them, you can print yourself out 7 of them and have as many as you want for yourself. I think that's pretty cool and that's pretty reasonable. Because my tabletop wargame plan is not the... Oh, Nathan X donates £9 the same. You, Bubs, Arch, and Disco could start working corners to generate more muns for the project. I don't think that'll work out as the way you're thinking. Thank you for the donation. Artemis Fowl donates $2. Say they are selling NFTs. I heard that is profitable. I'm not going to scam my audience, so I'm not going to scam people. I want to actually sell quality products, not... I want to sell stuff I can be proud of. I want to be an entrepreneur like my father. And I very much want to follow in his footsteps and make a successful company and business and sell things that you guys can like and consume. But instead of doing, other things, I want to head towards the entertainment sector and make video games and stories and stuff like that. That's where I want to make. Earthcoin will come to reality. The Earthcoin. I will make that into an emoji for you, Squealy Kitty. Just remind me. It will only take me like a second to crop out a few things. Should make cast-off figures of Aerith. Oh yeah, so back to the strategy with Legends of Terrestrial War Tabletop. The strategy is rather simple. It's pro-consumer, way above ourselves. This one's actually more beneficial. So when it comes to like how I intend to make more profits off of like, let's say the Astrian faction as a whole, I'm going to be selling different STL files. So like we'll have the Southern Astrian Army, the House Valen military force, we'll have the, House Torius, House Lonium, House Helvest, and some of them will have unique like units, but by and large they'll use the same, troops. But they'll have unique skins. So if you want to be comparable to something else, let's take, I don't know any good other tabletops. Let's take, let's think. Okay, I had to put that together in my head a little. So what's comparable to this is, imagine you buy, like, a bunch of Space Marines like you do for Warhammer 40k, right? And you want to get them, but, like, they're all kind of the same shape, you just color them differently. I don't want that, that's lazy. What I'm thinking is we do something better. Instead of that, we go around the route of, like, each house has a unique troop, each sub-tribe or sub-faction has unique, like, aesthetics and stuff like that. Making it more customizable so that each thing has a unique aesthetic rather than it being corporate and soulless. This is much more easy to do because we don't have to worry about manufacturing production lines, because we're selling STL files. We can actually manufacture the files at a faster rate than we could otherwise if we had to do manual production. That's where that becomes a problem. So you can have custom legions and stuff like that, which will be really cool. So we can get down into unique houses. So the Astrian Empire will take a long time to complete, so it'll probably bounce between factions and houses, just because it will take forever. Because the Astrian Empire is made up of, in 1022 AE, it has 4 major defensive, like, themes, and then there's the, each great house, and then there's the lesser houses, and then there's, like, it goes down from that. So it's kind of like that. Ooh, that's weird. I don't know what that is, Draconis. In regards to, like, muskets. Laser muskets and... I mean, I know what guard are, but I don't know, like, laser bolt actions. I have no idea what that is about. Will you publish rules fluff books? It'll all be relatively controlled and contained. I don't want a, like, Black Library situation to develop, so no allowing multiple authors. Even though it would be the smart business practice, I want to keep fairly tight lid and control on everything. Everything should be controlled narratively very well because it's very structured. That's always been a benefit of what our story has thus far internally, is how it's very cohesive. It's all for a greater goal, a greater purpose, if you will. And that would diminish just drastically if we just allow writers to write stories for everything. That's kind of the problem with Star Wars that I've noticed, where characters, every single character, like down to each guard in like a scene, will have like a ridiculous backstory or something on how they got there. That's just too much oversaturation. I need it to be more structured and orderly, in a sense that it's like, okay, these characters do these things, and, you know, for those reasons, etc., but it's not going to be, like, overdone to the point of, like, this stormtrooper has his own comic book because we wanted to milk it, and this stormtrooper here was in this scene with Darth Vader that one time. Oh, well, isn't that whimsical? You know, $50. Milk it. I don't want to milk it. Like, the project has a clear, definitive end and beginning, and other projects have more clear and end definitive beginnings as well. I want to keep it on that cycle. I don't want to fall into the Halo trap like we mentioned in the previous stream, where it was successful after 3, and so Master Chief's story kind of ended there, but, you know, they kept, like, well, it's Master Chief, and it is. To be fair, it's fucking Master Chief. You put him on a box, it's gonna fucking sell, right? But the problem is like, a part of that story is diminished because it very much becomes corporatized. I'd want to avoid that. I want stories for characters to end, and I want stories to, you know, wrap in or tie into each other, but not to drag a character beyond their grave where they don't belong. Artemis Fowl donates $5 saying, maybe you should make a themed chessboard or make degenerate models for your Weeb fans to put in glass jars. I mean, already some of them have. I don't really want to make, like, hentai stuff right now. We're not that desperate for money, guys. To be fair, I'm pretty sure I could write a hentai if I wanted to, but it's just not something I want to write, and so I don't really want to do that. I want to do, you know, what I want to do, and I have the luxury to do that right now. I'm going to pursue that while I have that luxury. There's a saying, some director says, one for me, one for them, you know. He's going to make a movie for him, but he's going to make a movie for, you know, that'll sell well. Right now, I don't have to adopt that policy. I can be like, one for me. But you never know. It's not like we haven't had hentai stuff commissioned before. As bonus meme and like jovial stuff as bonuses. Plus, it was an excuse to give some money to some artists that I just like, that have been good friends, and I feel like, you know, I kind of want to help them out every once in a while. Let's be honest, you are that desperate. Not yet. That desperation only begins next month when I find out whether or not there's a future for me or not in what I'm doing. And how I'm doing it. Let the fans do the porn? Yeah, more or less. I recently got a question in DMs, by the way, a while ago, and just to clarify in case other people have it. Is fan content okay? Yes, it's more than okay, it's more than welcome. If people want to monetize fan content, I do... I'm open to the idea of discussing it behind closed doors, I'll say that much. Because I do like the idea of supporting fan creations and fan content, and I don't want them to, you know, go hungry, so to speak. Especially when they're pouring so much heart and soul into it. But that would be something we'd have to discuss behind closed doors. Like, what would be an example? Like, let's say there's a modding team that makes, like, a mod of something, right? And they want to open up a Patreon to support the mod they're creating. Well, I mean... I think that's cool, but, like, we'd obviously need to get that signed and documented. To prove that there's they have authorization. Otherwise, when it comes to copyright and protection of your IP, you need to show that you actually enforce and care about your IP, otherwise you forfeit it. Or in a court of law, it has less legal standing. Because it's like, well, why didn't you do that for this in this case? And it's like, well, shit. But it's good to keep things signed. I'm not thinking like GW, though, where you just, like, milk them and gut them. That's sickening. Squirty Boredom donates £5 to say, later after the stream, you should look again at Arch's Lost Ark tweet. I'm having fun with an SJW in the replies. I don't really want to deal with SJWs right now. I got so much work to do. I'll probably take a gander at it when I'm lying down and want a good chuckle. But yes, there are... You're talking about the Lost Ark tweet where, was it you that tweeted, basically, because Arch's really big fan of Lost Ark, and that's cool. You know, I'm happy for him, because he's finally got a good MMO that he's enjoying, and I feel bad, because he's been searching for that for a very, very long time, right? And so he's finally found something that's clicked well with him, and that's awesome. But, one thing is somebody pointed out that, you know, Lost Ark, because of Amazon, had recently forced them to do diversity changes. And very lazy diversity changes, too, where just characters were reskinned to be darker skin tones, etc., etc. You know how the thing goes. I don't really want to get into it too much here, because I don't really care that much. But it's just one of those things that it is worth pointing out. That, yes, Lost Ark is an interesting MMO. It's doing some interesting things. It'll have about a month or so to figure out whether it'll click or not. Month or two. We'll find out for sure. Whether it evaporates or... manages to find its numbers and stabilize, but it should be noted that it is not a purely heart project. Sadly, corporatism has deeply infested it. But such is the nature of things. Sadly, this is something that we're just going to have to deal with as time goes on. Don't want to talk about military or Polly Squeaks Artemis. I'm here to talk about my game. U.S. government can take a fucking hike. They don't matter. They already take enough money from me when it comes to what I'm trying to do. And they're going to be taking a huge fucking chunk more in a month or so. Right now I'm trying to pool what little wealth I have together to try to maintain project operations full-time speed without having to stop them when I pay taxes. But I'm not sure if I've accrued enough grandma and grandpa bucks to make it. We'll find out, though. I know it'll alleviate it because I don't want to go 1 month with the workers not being given work. But unfortunately, this is good news and bad news. Unfortunately, you guys have been extraordinarily generous. Last year was one of our best years we've ever had in terms of donos, and the game is doing really well because of that. Unfortunately, now comes the negative side. Now's the taxation part of that. Now's when the government takes their chunk. This is what's going to suck, because that's going to happen next month or the month after when I decide to finish up those taxes. How much do you need to keep it running? To keep it running at fully operational speed? If I had to wager a guess, let's see, hold on. I did the estimations for that one. That one. I did all the ones for the key core staff, if I remember right. The key core staff to keep operating at full capacity, just preserving key core members of the team with the budget, we'd need 3,000, like, 180 or it's 280. It's around that ballpark. Minimum to maintain operational speed. Like I said, you guys have done an excellent job at propping us up. You guys are crowdsourcing the studio. You've done a fantastic job. Could not have done it without you, and I could not have done it without my pops either, and the job I do for him. Hats off to both of you. We have managed to do really good, but satisfactory operational costs would be 4,000 plus probably. That's not including my living expenses for myself, but I found ways to diminish living expenses yet further because I was doing the math on how I can reduce electrical costs even further. I bought myself a little desk fan. Yes, it's going to suck in the summer, but I'm going to stop using AC even if we do get the renewal because I want to cut down on spending as much as possible because we need to find ways to cut corners on things. Like, you guys have sent me some awesome recipes, and by the way, I'm open to more. If you guys want to DM me or go to the food posting and at me in our Discord server with some dishes you can make and mass prep and that are nice and cheap and fairly nutritional that I can eat and make myself, I would appreciate that as well, because that does help. Trying to cut corners on food as much as possible so that without, deteriorating health with, like, less nutrition, but, like, just get it low enough so we can get, like, as minimal cost there as possible, so we can also get as much money we can squeeze out of there, as well as reduce living cost expenses on my end, so that the cost of maintaining studio productions, I won't hinder that as much as possible. Obviously, I got my apartment fees and utilities and all that crap, but that's why I don't have a light on. Like, I live in complete darkness. Because having lights on is consuming and wasting electricity. That's also why I invested in these cheaper RGB keyboard things. Because, well, I don't need a light to see the buttons because I just press the little switch and it turns on a little red backlight. Now I can see all the buttons without having to have a light if I need to look down. Ways of minimizing cost on things. Every little thing helps. It's nice. It all adds up. The electricity on lighting, only one light bulb, and carry it with you around the house. No. Actually, the thing is, I have, like, a cheap night light that I actually plug into the wall. And that actually is enough light at night, so if I have to get up and go to the bathroom or get up and do something, that night light I can actually see the ground well enough. That's good enough. It does the job, actually. Potatoes, they are cheap. Filling, tons of recipes. Yes, tater tot hot dish recipes, I do have a fair few of those. Okay, hold on, we gotta back up. Vulpus donates or doesn't donate, sorry. Wait, let me go back and let's be honest here. Okay, Vulpus has been a member for 16 months, a disciple of Squeak. Thank you very much, my dude. Also, don't forget that's additive. Any supers you have given, or if you've been a member for months and months and months, is additive. Additive. Just tally up the months, because most of you can have the Pretender rank, which is the top rank. It's basically you get everything free card. I talked with the team and they're okay with that. I double, triple, quadruple checked. That will include the STLs for the minis when they're ready. That's also why I've been stressing people joining the Discord server, because finally there will be something redeemable with that now. Yay, right? Let's see. Keeping things plugged on adds the energy bill. That's true. The more things you have plugged in, because it always is actively drawing energy. That's why I make sure to unplug things that I don't use. For example, in my kitchen, I unplug my microwave, because it's a cheap, crappy one, and I unplug my crappy little shitty electric grill. As well, there's no point having it plugged in if you're not using it, because it's always actively drawing electricity. Everything adds up, everything's additive, right? Every penny. If you can save a penny, you know, every month, you will, because it all adds up. That's one more penny that can instead be turned, flipped, put into the game, invested into something that matters. That's the most important part. And when you're trying to run like a little indie project, you need to be willing to make sacrifices. You need to be willing to, you know, do whatever it takes to keep the lights on for what matters. No point in excess use of things that you don't need. I'm sure there's more things I could probably maximize the efficiency of. I probably could power off my work computer, though I intend to use it later, so I've got it on. And mostly because I haven't fully finished all the stuff I need to do. I need to work more. Once the stream is over, that's what I'm going to do, actually. Come to Brazil, here your gringo money, you could live well enough. See, you're not wrong. Moving to a country and still working remotely would still generate a lot of money, but the problem with doing that is the expenditure to move, the expenditure to get citizenship to do that, to transfer equipment, all that stuff. Like, in order for that stuff to pay itself back would take an extremely fair amount of time. Not to mention if things go really south, I'm isolated and also stuck. Not that I wouldn't have wealthier family members to being able to back me up. I don't want to be a drain on them. That's why when people ask, like, oh, well, you know, why don't you ask that person for help, you know, or they got money? It's like, because I'm not going to drag somebody else into this project and potentially drag them down. This is my project. This is my dream. You know, the team members I have, it's my responsibility to carry that weight. It's not their responsibility to shoulder that burden. That's my job. If I want this game, and it's my dream to make this game, then I need to be willing to carry that weight, no matter how heavy it is. My job to do that. Holy crap. Whiskey Potato, where have you been all these fucking... I haven't seen you in a while. He donates $150 to say, do I get a free copy? Yes. But technically you paid for it like 4 times. Also, make sure you send me the receipt. Hearing... Because I want to give you your pretender rank. Hearing you talking about how dedicated you are to your project makes me feel sorry about myself and inspire me at the same time. Please don't stop. I'll help you with the game the only way I can. Get some good food with this money. I mean, I'm not going to... Don't worry about the food thing. I'm not like malnutrition. I take care of myself. I've got plenty of food in the fridge. I am so sick to death of macaroni, though. I tried to make this macaroni dish with buffalo chicken recipe that I tried, because it was relatively cheap to make, and it tastes pretty good, you know. But I made too much, and like I'm so sick to death of mac and cheese, so I'm going to throw it away probably, or I think it's going to go bad before I even finish it. Honestly, I think it already is bad. I've had that. It tasted really good at first, but I think I now hate it. I was like, buffalo chicken and mac and cheese actually turned out pretty good, but oh my god, man, like I don't want to eat any more of it though. It's like every time I think about eating, I'm like, I gag. I'm like, ugh. I mean, it's cheap to make though. Yeah, I forget what the recipe is exactly, but it's basically like chicken, you know, some buffalo chicken, you make that separate, then you make mac and cheese, and then, you know, you make that separate, and then you put the chicken with the mac and cheese. So it's like buffalo chicken on top, and then mac and cheese. It's actually not too bad. It's fairly filling. And fairly cheap to produce, which is quite nice. And then I have some veggies on the side, like a little tiny salad or something, because you need to have other nutrition as well. Kibs has plenty of belly fat. Oof, right in the feels. Right in the blubber. I'm not that fat, chat. Come on. You could hunt and fish for food. The Mississippi River isn't dreadfully far away. That's not entirely false. However, I don't know if I'll be making a lot of money while fishing. I think that might not be very effective. Also, again, Whiskey Potato, thank you for the very generous donation. Send me a DM immediately on Discord. Kibs, do you have any IT certs? Nope. I can give you pierogi. I mean, go for it, BFEOs. BFEOs, just send it to me. Any recipe and every recipe. The more the merrier, because I've gotten sick of that tater tot hot dish recipe somebody gave me for a while ago. That was really good too, by the way. But excess of anything gets really samey after a while. I just need like a bunch of easy, cheap to make dishes that I can make en masse, and then I need to rotate them. Because that way, I need to make them a little bit smaller. Like the mac and cheese dish, I made a mistake. I made way too much of it. I think some of it's going to go bad. I'm pretty sure it already has gone bad. I'm fairly certain. I'm at the point now where I'm worried about eating it, so I'm probably not going to. Tonight might be just chicken noodle soup, which is fine, because hearty chicken noodle soup is always great. How much is my rent? It's about $700, which isn't bad, all things considered. 700 buckos. And that it comes with like a washing machine dryer, which is nice, so I can actually take care of most things, and all that stuff is functioning quite fine. Not too shabby. Personal living expenses, I think, equate out to about $1,000 per month. I'm trying to cut it down below it if I can. That's the trick, but I don't think I will be able to get lower than that, where I am at now. Because the goal is, because it's like, okay, in minimum production costs, right, for optimal efficiency to keep 4 essential staff running is $3,000+, right? Like, plus the money, you know, oops, my computer went to sleep. Plus the money, you know, that we make from YouTube, it's just, we're not making enough to sustain with the channel alone. Like, right now, if I lose that job, things will have to get cut. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reduce costs so that I can aid that expenditure in any way possible. Because it all adds up. You could get roommates to share the rent. With streaming, that would be a terrible idea. I would drive them absolutely insane. Not a bad idea for the rent thing, though. Great idea, but the fact that I stream, I think that would go very south very quickly. Because, you know, I have to be chatty, I have to be noisy, and I feel like I'd drive them up the wall and be murdered by them. Khalifa K donates a very generous $40. Say, hey Kyle, long-time viewer and lurker. I know. I recognize you, Khalifa. You've been here forever. You occasionally do comment. Here on YouTube and the Discord. Hope this helps, because I'm really hyped for the project. And I'm here for the long haul. And hope the game explodes up the sales charts. Well, I mean, that's what I hope too, my friend. Thank you very much. Don't forget to DM me quickly in your Discord for the receipt as well. Because what people that have the Chamber of Squeakers will be given first access to the YouTube channel. It's not like there's a limited supply of anything, by the way. It's just mostly for testing purposes. Make sure things work when we open up for external testing. Once we have that website done, I'll be so happy, though, because then we can refocus those resources back into the game. And then all it is simply maintenance and just adding any things that Baffios produces. And then that's pretty much it. And the website will just sort of take care of itself. Definitely, it's ideal. I mean, perfect, yeah. But the problem is I think talking creates vibration, if I remember right. That might be annoying. I mean, no, I don't think. I know it does. I just don't know how loud I am. What is your funding gab at the moment? My funding gab? What's that mean? I don't recognize that term. Elaborate, Artemis. I thought of an idea you might find interesting, but that's totally different topic. That's fine, Mithrin, no worries. He invites the wrong guy and suddenly being bred is a very real possibility. You know, thanks. No, thanks. Nope. Maybe some solar-powered chargers and some power packs to charge your devices to save electricity for water. Get some water collectors or something. Oh, the water here is actually part of the utility costs. For just living here. So water isn't a problem, fortunately. I don't have to worry about that. Cleaning dishes and doing laundry, not a problem, which is nice. Gap. What is your funding gap at the moment? The problem, okay, so this one's going to be tricky to explain, but you'll get it pretty quickly. So with YouTube, we have how many? Okay, let's break down first this way. Okay, we have Patreon, we have Subscribestar, we have YouTube memberships, we've got Super Chats, and we have Streamlabs donations, and then we have Twitch. That's 6. I don't think I missed anything. That's 6 ways of generating revenue online. These 6 ways have actually almost made up for 50% of the game's budget. Incredible, I know. That's insane. I could live off this, but I don't want to, because living off this means that, well, the game's budget shrinks up by 50%. That's not good. Now, this can vary. Much like YouTube, it has good months, or content creation in general, has good months and bad months. Some people, you know, can give a lot sometimes. Some people don't want to give any. That's totally fine. No problem with that. Some people, you know, reach tough times and they want to support, but they can't. Happens. So this can vary, right? December was one of the best months we'd had in a long time. We had reached almost 4,000, I think, in donations. Like, it was incredible. That's everything tallied together. All 6 of those things, right? That's incredible. That's why you saw a massive surge in productions and things that we were producing, because the extended increase in revenue allowed us to create a lot more stuff, which is really nice, because then we could really get some headway. And that's where we got that massive boost right there. That's also where we decided to expand the team by 2 additional supporting artists. Now, the reason for adding 2 additional supporting artists, they're not like regulars like the other artists. They still do work, is mostly because I noticed that there was stress. The stress was boiling down to Sala and Carlos. They were just being forced to work on too many things at the same time, and that stress is wearing down. And it's like, okay, we need to alleviate that. We need artists to support them. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck doing every little task by themselves, and I don't want them to, you know, crack under the pressure, and I don't want them to, you know, be overburdened with all these tasks, because it is quite heavy. It's like, okay, I can get 2 additional supporting. That's where we got Rain. That's where we got Show from. Those 2 supporting artists have done a great job at alleviating that stress and making it a lot easier for more breathing room, so that the other artists aren't over-stressed on the other things, because there is so much. Like, when I talk about Legends of Terrestria, there's so much to talk about in terms of what's being done. Like, down to the architecture, the structures, the food, the coloring, the art styles, there's so much being made, because it's a completely fresh IP, that it's like a whole new universe is being born in this process. That's why, like, if you've been following the city building stuff that we've been doing for the city of Pyria, like, it's absolutely incredible what the art guys have been able to do. Like, they've been able to work with the descriptions and the ratings I've given them, and they've been able to build on top of that. Like, they have built on top of that. And I always think, like, oh yeah, like, this idea I have is really good. I really well written out, all these things I want. And then, like, they somehow find ways to make it even better. It's quite incredible, actually. We have some really talented and intelligent artists on our team. Very creative. This is a very good blessing. Because of that, the palace is looking spectacular. Like, I had a really cool idea for the palace in my mind, but there's some things that have been added to the palace purely because they came up with some new cool ideas. I was like, yeah, no, that actually is cool. Like, in regards to it's not necessarily the palace itself. It's one of the defensive systems in Pyria is because it has Seagate access, and the ports connecting the different sections of the city. It's actually rather interesting. So if it was under siege, there's a lot of interesting things that happens with that city. It's a very fascinating little settlement. It was originally just a fishing village in the older lore, and then got expanded. And it still was a fishing village, but I digress. It's just really interesting to see how it all comes together. I won't flake out a review copy. I'll probably hand out review copies, but unlike certain companies, I'm not going to discriminate when it comes to critics and people. Because I find things like what Creative Assembly does detestable, where they only hand it out to simps or sellouts, people that are easily influenceable or influenced, and they don't hand it out to critics because either they're vulgar or B, the fact that they're critical. This project it's not about such petty grievances. I'd like to think it's about making a fun game, and critics are kind of the only way that we can help ourselves to get better. Because through their critique, through their criticism, we can find ways to make new stuff and better stuff. Imagine Kibs releases a book in order to help fund the sequel. Writing a book would take an immense amount of time. Mostly because it'd be like, what would I write it on? Would I write it on the War of the Father, the Five Emperor Crisis, the Astro Dominion Wars? Like, what? Like, there's so much crap. Do we just write about Celeste even? Like, there's so much. But that's kind of the beauty of writing and creating and making fictional worlds. And what's nice now is, after working on this for so long and so many years, this universe has been refined and molded so many times that I finally have the vision right. It was not an easy thing, especially because I had no experience at the beginning. A lot of mistakes were made to get to this point now. And a lot of things had to be remade from the ground up. Because, well, sometimes if you're on an unstable foundation, you just need to smash it all down and redo it. Because it's the only way you can do it right. Let's see. Artemis finally got back to me. So that's all nice. So what you're saying is you have an excess expenditures without a set budget, and you make up for it by decreasing your personal living costs. No, not necessarily. Especially not in the living cost department. What I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to save more money so I can allocate more resources into the spending of the game. We're currently actually working at optimal speeds based on what money we have. Now, could I use more? Yes. That's the real answer, is always going to be yes. The next big goal would be to bring on a programmer full-time, but to bring on a programmer full-time is in the thousands, because all of our programmers are Western-based. Now this is the big kicker, right? A lot of our artists are actually Eastern European, or they are, you know, from Indochina or Asia as a whole. So what's nice is the expenditure cost of living is actually quite lower. So in actually, you know, to be able to pay them all, it isn't nearly as much as paying like somebody from the West per se, like somebody from California or somebody from Britain or somebody from, you know, Western Europe in general. The expenditure cost for like getting people there, like that's a lot higher because the cost of living is also higher. But that's the next trick. The next trick is doing that. That's gonna not happen for a while, sadly, because I don't see magically a couple $1,000s landing in my pocket consistently every month. That's a bit absurd. Also, ooh, excuse me, I almost choked. Also, I don't want to hire people on something so volatile, because the problem is, well, number one, I care about my team members. Number two, I don't want them to be in the position I am, where I'm constantly worrying about, you know, whether I'm having a job or not in the next month, you know? Or, well, every, you know, renewal period, more or less, not next month. That sucks. It's stressful, and it's awful, and I hate everything about it. Like, it's very stressful. But the thing is, that's just life, you know? But I don't want to put other people through that same experience, because they don't deserve that. They deserve to have something reliable, something steady. And the real answer is we got to get bigger. We got to make better things. We got to make more progress on the game. Now, obviously there's, you know, bottlenecks. Bottlenecks, one of the big ones is going to be coding. That's just how it's going to be for probably for a long time. But at least we've solved the art problem as the bottleneck. So art is actually being produced at an exponential rate. This is good news. This means a lot of art will be produced, a lot of things can be checked off, and we'll get closer to getting things, you know, that we need. We'll get website art assets, we'll get, you know, miniature art assets. The miniature project on the side is hopefully going to produce, you know, more revenue than it's costing. If not, oh well. If as long as it can meet its, you know, its expenditure, that's great, because it means it's not detracting. But everything's going to be a deficit, especially when you want to start and make something new. Like, that's just something you gotta chin up, you gotta man up, and you gotta be like, okay, this is gonna suck, and you gotta just do it. And you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate the fact that, like, God, it feels like you're just burning money sometimes. But when you look at the progress, you look at the things being made, you need to remind yourself, like, we're getting closer. We are making progress. Like, we are reaching that goal. It's reachable. What's worse about this year is the renewal thing sucks, right? A lot. But what's terrible is, like, we're getting so close you can almost taste it. but there's always like a bug here and there or something. And it's like, God, there will come a point though when it'll finally be reached and you'll have made that first major headway, which the big goal I want. The big goal, because, like, yes, I want the game done, hell yeah. But the big, more realistic goal is like, okay, what's realistic within this year's time frame? The combat build prototype, if we could just make it. If we could just make that, that would be glorious. For several reasons. My favorite reason, personally, is number one, it'll be f***ing done, the combat prototype. I'll be so happy. The second thing is actually being able to show it. Making it in a presentable state, to then show and be like, hey, here's what the combat looks like. Because it's one thing to describe it to a player, but it's way better if they just see it or try it for themselves. That's the big thing. Did they get the renewal? No. Not yet. I want to quickly add that, because that sounds bad. That won't happen till next month. I'll know. I'll keep you guys in the loop, because you have a right to know, because this will affect things here. You guys very much will be kept in the loop, because you have every right to know. Because it does affect the content here, and it does affect the project that we're working on. And you guys have invested so much into it, along with me, you know, so you deserve to know. Half and Half donates $5, say, here's some buckaroos to keep on keeping on. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate it, Half and Half, as always. Hire me, I can use Microsoft Paint. No. Host an RP with unpaid interns, your moderation team. My moderation team's already volunteer-based. Of course I don't pay them, because I don't have money for that. I don't. And I'm very appreciative of the volunteers that I volunteered. Because my moderation team didn't actually volunteer themselves. I volunteered them for them. They were actually conscripted. But hand-picked, mind you. I went out of my way to make sure I picked people that didn't want to moderate. Because often the people that will be best at that job are the people who least want it. Generally. But also have greater disdain for bad moderation. That's why I know my server's pretty good. Because when I check the mod room, or I check my server in a general, like, the mod room is dead for most of the month. Like, nothing gets posted there. That's how we know things are going right. When things are going bad, then you're seeing pop-ups there. Like, oh, shit. There's no effort without error. That's true. That's a brilliant quote. I don't know where you got that from, but that's good. Artemis Fowl donates $2. Say, send you a question on Discord. Answer at leisure. Oh, I assume you don't want to answer it via public. It will be private then. Getty is best moderator. Poor Silver and everyone else. Brent. Hanse. Bear. Getty is probably the chillest of chill. Next to Silver. Silver is that Austrian lad who just lurks. He's sitting there. You know he's staring. He's like, I'm gonna get you. Oh my goodness. Poor Twitch chat. It's dead. It also has a bot inside of it. Let's kill that bot. I've been looking at that bot being like, how do I ban you again? Mod it? No, that'd be a mistake. He's banned. I did it. Oh, yeah. So there's lots and lots of stuff, right? Oh, my goodness. Now, I would like to show you a lot more stuff, but certain little Latvian doesn't want me to. It looks really cool. Fair enough. That Latvian will be permitted to have his cake for now. It would be hard to do a serious conversation here, and it would retract from the other guests. I'm pretty sure. Well, alright. Alright. Suit yourself. I used to rule Twitch chat, said Hothead Lad, but I am here with YouTube plebs. You've given it, hothead lad. You knew it was over. Squealy Kitty says, I hate Twitch for the ads on Twitch. Yeah, I can't control them, sadly. Not that I'm aware of. To be fair, I have no idea how Twitch works. I set it up, and then it just... I never touched it again. But at least I can curse here, slut boy. No! Does this help for any algorithm? I mean, in regards to algorithm, how can you help the channel without giving muns? There's actually several ways to do it. Number one, I'd still recommend you leave your ad block on, purely because I don't really want you guys to suffer through ads. Like, yeah, sure, I lose out on a little bit of money, but like, it detracts from the experience of this channel, and it kind of ruins the mood. Like, when I clicked on a video and an ad pops up, like, I'm already in a soured mood because of it. And I want the experience of our channel to be as good as possible, and I think that keeping your ad block on is increasing your enjoyment of the channel. So leave that on, and if you haven't got that on, you should turn it on for this channel. Instead, what you can do in a better way is you could just, you know, interact. Typing in chat boosts algorithm, viewing percentage, whether you watch VODs or the full percentage helps. That's another free way to help. Another free way to help is to leave a comment, and another free way to help is to, you know, interact with the like button. You don't have to do any of those things. Simply being here is already contributing, by the way. To ask more is to ask absurd things. But those are all free ways in which you can help boost the channel. At least I'm pretty sure. You never really know. No, turn on your ad blocker, pesky ad blocker. I disagree with Arch and everyone else on that. Like, just leave it on. There's no point. Like, to be honest, the supers you guys have given us today already outperform the ad revenue. Now, that's also because we're a tiny channel, that's true. Like, we make, like, you know, $5 per video or stream just from ad revenue. But honestly, it's not really worth it. Because if somebody gives a couple bucks, it's already outperforming. If somebody has YouTube Red, their viewership is already adding up to more than the average view. They're already making up for that. So just use ad block. Save yourself. Don't be miserable. Use ad block. Be happy. I've always preferred the... Maybe I'm a bit of an idealist. Maybe that makes me an idiot. But I prefer to try to increase the enjoyment and entertainment value of the stuff I make. To try to make it go as far as it goes, so that it's people like, yeah, I enjoyed these streams. I enjoyed hanging out with them. I enjoyed interacting in chat, even though it's very hard to when there's a lot of us. When there's a lot of us, it's extraordinarily difficult. I'm going to continue to try to get better at that, but you guys are going to have to help me with that. How much Raid Shadow Legends does Arch actually play? I never hear him talk about it, so I don't know. I mean, he might play it. I have no idea. I've never really asked him. All I know is you get sponsored by him occasionally. I do sponsorships too. I haven't done one in a while though. I could apply for more. In fact, I could do that right now. I probably could get some pretty easily, but honestly, I don't find the money to be worth it, and honestly, most of them I can't even actually honestly sponsor because after being a Steam curator, I became very much an idealist, and I thought, and maybe that's where my idealism comes into place, because I'm like, no, my word matters. My word matters. Everyone else might be a shill, but my word matters. You know, that's what I would tell myself. And so it's like, I'm going to make sure that I'm always, you know, true to my word. When I say I like a game or I don't, you know, I do. It's like the one thing that I'm known for, or was ever known for, was the review of the Toy Soldiers War Chest collection, or War Chest, sorry, that Ubisoft released, because I got early access to it. I also got access to Heroes of Might and Magic, the one they did, the last one, but it was, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just didn't care. I was like, I have no attachment to these games, and I don't even know what I'm playing. And this is weird. Apparently it was bad, but whatever. But yes, and that was like the defining moment for my curation career, where I was like, I was contacted by them, and they were like, hey, can you please re-review it? And I'm like, I mean, okay, I'll play it again. And then I played it again, and in the comment under the review, I'm annoyed because I deleted it. I should have kept it. What a mistake that was. Because they're like, can you please replay it? You know, like, maybe just, you know, maybe it's better now or something. They said something like that, and it was really dumb. I'm like, okay, I will. And I played it again, and I'm like, it still kind of sucks. And I just remember all the like little likes I got on that. And it was funny. Like, it's honest though. It's like, it still sucks. Like, it's not better. You didn't fix it in the last 5 minutes. To be fair, it was probably like a couple hours, but still, like, it still sucked. Oh my god, it's time to chill. I mean, I'm open to doing ads and things, but I have a couple rules. Number one, I'm gonna say whatever I want to say, and there's nothing you can do to deter me. And if that means you're not gonna give me the mun-muns at the end, that's fine. I'll read those supers in a while. I need to get this thought because they won't. And I told that to the Russian developer for that mecha game we played, and that game was actually kind of surprisingly fun. Like, I went in there and I was honest. I was like, I have low expectations, to be honest. I'm looking at this thing. It's based on some Russian novel. It's like a twin stick shooter, and Bubbles and I played it. And we, you know, they paid us $50 for a sponsorship, but for the, you know, 14, 16 hours we put into it, or 10 hours or whatever it was, like, it was entertaining. Like, it was actually fun to play around the multiplayer stuff. And you know what? That wasn't half bad. And I was like, hey, that's not too bad. Or it's like that vampire game we played a while ago that was, we got paid to do. It's like, okay, I'm going to play it, but like, I'm going to say my piece. And I did. And, you know, the developer was pretty chill about it. He's pretty cool. He just likes making video games, and that was cool. Alright, now I need to read supers because I'm falling behind. Because I'm slow and fat. Artemis Fowl donates... nope, I'm wrong person. Vulpus donates 10 euros to say. Also, some mun-muns from another lurker. Love your enthusiasm, and I try to catch as many streams as I can. Appreciate it. See, you say you're a lurker, but I recognize your name. Like, every lurker, you're not the best lurkers. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be critical of you guys for a bit because, like, I recognize Vulpus. Khalifa, I've recognized for a long time. Sure, you guys leave comments on videos here and there, but I actually read them. I read pretty much every comment because I also curate the comment section because we sometimes get bots in there. Bubbles normally thwacks them though before I do though, and people that sometimes troll our comments because, well, much like our Discord, our comments are gatekept as well. Because the Bickering Bunch is an experience, and in order to want to participate in that experience, you have to be willing to indulge it. But I haven't had to do anything like that in a long time, honestly. Khalifa... Or not Khalifa. I can't read. Terrasad donates 20 BGNs to say, here, money, don't starve. I'm not gonna starve. I want to play your game and consume all the lore you got. I hope you guys will enjoy it. And I hope the game will be super fun for you. And thank you for the 20 BGN. Appreciate it. It means a lot that you guys are supporting. And also Terrasad, because I recognize your name. You're the little Necron dude who's been here for a very long time, actually. You don't comment too often. But I don't think I've ever seen the donation from you. Make sure you get the donation thing. Go to the Discord, send me a DM. If I don't do it, for whatever reason you get buried, just message me again, and if not, just message Hanse or Bubbles or any other of the admins or moderators. They all have permission to uprank people. Unless they've forgotten. Then just tell them that I told them that they can do that, because I'm pretty sure I said that several times. Like, if somebody wants to try contacting a moderator because they're on, they want to see the Chamber of Squeakrits, you feel free. The game's cover art is actually available right now in the Chamber of Squeakrits for preview view. And we showed off a little sketch of it not that long ago. The cover art of the game looks so cool. Our company logo and our game logo is actually finished. And they look stellar. They're dripping with soul. I knew I did a good job picking the art boys to just, like, see, this is why you gotta let the arts off the leash a little bit. Like, it's okay if it's something you want super specific, but, like, generally I'm like, okay, here's my idea. I want it to be like this, but, like, I'm gonna give you breathing room so that you can express your own creativity in this. Because sometimes you can get some really interesting results, and that actually helped with the game logo so much. It's just, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's absolutely stunning. Like, it looks like it's something that I would see on, like, a theater screen or something. Like, it looks fantastic. But either way, I'm proud of that one that they produced. Thank you for the donation. Artemis Fowl donates $5. Say Arch only does sponsors for things he uses, like Raid Shadow Legends. You could follow Arch's example and do sponsors for Bad Dragon. Ha 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 ha. Fuck you. Thank you for the donation. No, 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 no. I don't want to do that. I really don't. I really don't. Also, it has to be things like I'd play. Like, I even told those Russian devs, like, it was a fun game to play. I thought about actually playing it one more time, because it was a fun little twin stick thing, but I had my fill after 8 hours of it. Valken, oh wait, no, wrong person. Viking Kiwi donates $26.28 to say, been a bit too tired lately, so I have not been as active in Discord as chat as I would have liked. Been sleeping more than anything. Also, gonna spend a bit of money this month, so I cannot give you too much this month. Sorry, you don't need to be apologizing. I'm grateful that you guys give us regular money. The guys that give regular money is not something I expect you guys to do. And if you guys don't want to do that anymore, or you change your mind, you don't need to ever apologize to me. I'm grateful you gave anything to begin with. And that you actually wanted to do that. Like, I appreciate that. You have no idea. Like, thank you. Seriously. And if you ever need to stop and you don't want to, or you just lose interest or whatever, you know, do what you want to do. Your money. You don't need to ever apologize to me. I'm grateful you're willing to give it to me so that I can invest it in my dream. Like, that is extraordinarily generous of you guys. And I thank you guys very much for that. There's no way in hell we could have gotten as far as we have right now if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate that. But don't ever have to... You don't ever have to apologize. Ever. Like, if you misbehave in the Discord, it's unrelated, then yeah. But, like, in regards to this, like, that, never. You don't ever have to. I'm grateful that you did that, so I appreciate that. Shade Shadant donates $2 to say, have a muns for a few more pixels and world B. I assume building. So, well, unfortunately, those muns won't go for pixels because, well, you know what? They kind of will, because the other art is actually, this is all made in pixel art. Well, it's in a way it is. It's high-res pixel art. See, you can actually count the pixels when you're scrolling. Like, technically, there's pixels in this, right? I have pixels in everything. It's just, you know, low-res art or high-res art, I think, is the technical term. We're not actually producing any low-res art. In fact, our animator is actually mostly helping out with the coding problem because we need to get further in the game. There's so much complicated things. Like, remember when I was talking about the building sliceaways? That's the big thing. If you watch Robin stream, that's what he's been working on. Getting the building to do sliceaways when you're on the second floor, when you're on the bottom floor, how it interacts when there's multiple characters, because it's a tactical RPG, so you can control multiple characters. You might have a character outside behind the building, and then you have a character on the second floor and a character on the bottom floor. The game needs to discern which character needs to be present, what layer, and what transparency of each layer, so you can see what's happening in each layer, because that's rather complicated. Our game is rather advanced. It's not like a simple JRPG game. This is a top-of-the-line tactical role-playing game with absurdly complex mechanics and systems that my programmers absolutely love the fact that I wanted to put in the game. But you know what? They're troopers, and they've managed to do it. They've managed to impress me, especially Disco's good work on the UI. Our game is remarkably advanced. And that's because of the Battle Damage Studio principle of no cut corner. It is a blessing and a curse. It's incredible how advanced our game is. It's also incredible that the programmers are able to achieve what they're able to achieve. They are the best of the best. And thank you for the donation. Let's be honest, you tolerate me because I donate, says Artemis Fowl. Oof. That's not true, Artemis Fowl. Artemis Fowl, the only thing you've ever done, the only thing you've ever done that has ever come close to annoying me is when you DM me about the RP. And I'm like, I don't care. But that's fine. You can DM me about the RP. It's just like, when it comes to backseat gaming stuff, I don't mind suggestions, but I'm gonna play my character how I'm gonna play my character. And my character is gonna get himself killed, then he's gonna get himself killed. Because, well, it's just the character, you know? But that's not true. But one thing I will say, Artemis, also you're based on a book series, that I actually really liked as a kid, Bind You. The movie was terrible. I didn't even watch it. I just saw some scenes from it. And it looked abysmal. See, now you're making me mad because I'm remembering that. Oh, man. That was such a terrible thing. But one thing I will say, Artemis Fowl, you don't interact hardly ever on this channel. Like, you show up for these streams. I don't think I've ever seen you in comments in the Discord. But maybe you only show up for these streams? These particular ones? You just don't want to watch the other ones. I see how it is. All of my ideas are purely suggestion and ideas, not backseating by any means, says Mithrin. Yeah, I know. No, you can tell when it's backseating. Backseating is more so when they're, like, being dictatorial. Artemis hasn't necessarily been dictatorial. I'm just saying for references. What an example of... see, now I have to give it... Example of backseat gaming is like, let's say you're playing a game right now. Let's say, for example, in this case, we'll use Artemis. Artemis is playing, I don't know, Halo or whatever. And I'm like, hey, you should build... Like, he's playing Halo Wars. You should build more Marines. And he's like, I don't want to. And it's like, no, you need to build them. It's like, no, I don't want to. It's when you get confrontational and you get obsessed about the player playing a certain way. This happens a lot and when we do the RP, not by Artemis, but by actually other people, who I'm not going to name, because they actually did apologize later, but where they got extremely aggressive towards Disco, they got extremely aggressive towards me, they got extremely aggressive towards Dev, when certain things didn't go the way they wanted it to go, because they think that the RP should play out a certain way that they want. The problem with, you know, that sort of parasocial relationship is people think they get so invested in what's happening that they become blinded by what they're actually doing. Because you're watching an RP that someone else is having. This is the player's game. This is one of the problems we've had since the beginning of doing the RPs in general. And it's always been that way. Always. Like, since I first started doing Lurking Hunger, there's always been somebody who gets super duper obsessed. What about the time I pretended to be Arch in his old Discord and made fun of you and the way Arch was? That was fun times. Impersonating people is against Discord terms of service. You shouldn't do that because you can get perma-banned. Too much gay porn in Kyle's server. I try not to interact. There's like literally... There's 2 channels at the bottom in the fucking slums. Everything else is normal. And in regards to server interactivity, Arches is improving by a lot thanks to Kase and Disco, but it's quintessentially dead in terms of VC activity. Just a wasteland. That server probably will never actually be on par with the Conclave, because the Conclave is actually a completely different style of server. The Conclave isn't necessarily a YouTuber server, though it is. It's a private community. In the same vein that Arches is, but it's more or less more about, you know, playing games, sharing hobbies, talking about nerd stuff, sharing foods. Like, people interact in different sections of the Discord. Like, I know some people don't ever visit comments. I know some people only hang out in the gaming VC, or gaming channels. I know some people only hang out in the scribbles and draw pictures. Some people only post food. Some people only hang out in certain other creative channels. Like, it's just, that's just it. Commons is pretty borderline sometimes. That's because we need to crack the whip more. And a reckoning is coming for the Commons, if you aren't aware already. But yes, we're going to be having some crackdowns on Commons, because some people have been taking a little bit too far. Not gonna name names. You know who you are. You know that the reckoning is coming, and you will be bapped and bonked until you learn your lesson. Commons is a safe for work channel, chat. And I've noticed an increase in degeneracy there. This will not be tolerated. This instead will result in a great purge. That will not happen, because it won't be a purge. We'll slap somebody and they'll be like, eh. Please be gentle, says Hothead Lad. Cough, cough, horny posting, cough, cough. There's a that's why I made dedicated channels. So the slums. This is completely unrelated to anything. But why does the slums exist the way they do? Also, get a real kick noise. A bit to say, another Kibu Photoshop session? No, it's not a Photoshop session. This is just an old piece of art Renerate made of a scared Aerith that I used to make the thumbnail for the stream. And I made it small and tiny. Borderline degeneracy is still safe for work, says Draconis. Last time I interacted in Discord too much in Discord communities, I turned the entire skeptic community into a dumpster fire. I have been a good boy for a while. Don't say stuff like that. When people say skeptic community or communities like that just makes my hair on the back of my neck stand up because it just sounds gross. It's like, what is it? What even is a skeptic community? It's like, is the planet round? I'm not sure. Do you have proof? Sounds dumb. Thank you for the donation, though. See, I don't like any of that. That's probably some sort of political thing, if I had to guess, which is cringe. Politics are boring. I'm sick of it. They're everywhere. It infests everything, both left and right. I just want to play video games, and I don't really care. Just want a place for escapism. That's what the Conclave represents. It's always what it has. What our community, it's what our game has always been about. Pure escapism and fun. Regardless of who you are, where you come from, or what you are, doesn't matter. Not my business. I'm usually just too busy with work and real life to interact more than I already do, says half and half. I mean, to be fair, server interactivity is massive right now. Like, it is quite heavy. Server interactivity is skyrocketing through the roof, though. Look at how many messages. That's insane. I'm happy. I'm actually proud. Our community has developed into a very healthy place. With lots and lots of conversations and discussions. And recipes. Some interesting recipes get posted every once in a while. Bad El Degusto. R donates $2 say disco. You can be forgiven. Just stream in one and whoa, bikinis. That's terrible. Forgiven for what? I think you're looking through a very narrow lens. See, Artemis Fowl only sees hentai, and I have to start asking questions here. Why are you always looking at that? Most of my time is spent looking through commons, gaming, and the art channels. And maybe sometimes the slums and memes for memes. When they're actually surprisingly, you guys are pretty good like at finding memes, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you guys are so good that most of what gets posted in our meme section is just recycled over on Arches. That's kind of great. We're used for mining memes. I've literally had compliments from people saying like, hey, I love your server because it's so good for finding memes. You guys are pretty good at that. You're good meme archaeologists. Digging up and hunting memes. Gosh darn it. I saw something posted in dev server and I got super excited. But there's no new stuff. I mean, there is. There's literally new posts from today, new art. But it's not stuff I can show you, sadly. Even though it looks super sick. Some of them aren't as good as memes. Briny says Artemis is sus. Very true. I think Artemis is very suspicious, guys. He's focusing on one of the bottom channels. I literally put the slums below everything else because that's the stuff I really don't care about. Like, like why did I make those? There's 4 different lewd channels, so to speak, because they're filters. They're basically what we call runoffs. Much like any city you build, right? You need a proper sewer system for all the garbage to run off to. That was a good burn. I'm patting myself on the back for that one. Get a real cut. It's a bit to say, are you avoiding doing work? That's how often I find myself in your streams. I wish. Actually, how long do I have left? We have a couple hours before I need to go back to work, actually. Rule 6 is flexible in those places. Listen, the rules are meant to be flexible, so that they're catch-alls, so when somebody's naughty, they get punished nice and good. Is your game going to be strictly PC, or are you open to branch out to console as well? I thought you were going to say, like, politically correct. I was like, what? Lol, really? You know, in regards to that question, I've already had this conversation before with the team. I want it to be on as many platforms as possible. That will allow us to have it. We're not going to censor it, though. There will be no censored releases. Period. No Chinese version either. Because they'll just censor it. There'll be a Chad Taiwanese version. I do not want the game to be censored. It will obviously be censored in China, though, without a fucking doubt, because of the things that are in the game. It's like it'd be censored. It's going to be censored in other places, too, that are strict. No censored. No bargaining, either. If anything has to be removed, then the only thing that gets removed is the platform from the roster of things. It should be considered a privilege for a platform to even have our game. You should worship us, little fucking filthy corpos. We're the ones who make content for you pieces of shit. Oh my god. It's true. Never noticed the Furry Scaly channel. Good, Gola. You're not supposed to notice it. That's why it's at the fucking bottom. It's supposed to be hidden. Well, don't worry. I actually don't approve of time travel either, because time travel would ruin the story of this universe. Oh my god, time travel would literally devalue every horrible thing I'm gonna do to all these characters. Like, you have no idea. It's gonna be terrible. That just means they could have happy lives. That's not good. That's not good. We can't have that. I'm kidding, chat. I'm not that cruel. But there's no time travel. Mostly because it does actually devalue sacrifice or anything like that. It devalues any time a character dies or things like that, because then it's like, oh, well, you know, you could just time travel to bring him back. No. What happens, happens. The decisions and consequences thereof are going to have to be lived with, much like real life. It might not. I don't know. Like, our game is... It's an interesting thing. It looks on the surface like, oh, it's just another sprite game. And then you're like, look at the sprites, like, wow, these sprites are really high end. And then all the actual mechanics and functionality, what's happening under the hood is rather complex. So, yeah. Artistic Cthulhu says, I despise censorship. The moment I notice even a tiny thing getting censored, I'm out. My tolerance for that garbage is gone. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't blame you. I'm kind of in the same shoes you are. Like, if I know the game's been tampered with, the vision has been distorted already. It's like you've already molested and raped the vision of a game. It's like when I look at Lost Ark. It's not even that obtuse there, from my knowledge. Like, it has happened, though. And it's worth mentioning because it did happen. You can't ignore it. It's a fact. It did happen. It needs to be called out. Have you watched Arcane yet? No, I have zero interest in Arcane. But thank you for the donation. Mostly because I don't care about League of Legends at all. Like, I thought some of the artists that came out of the Riot Games studios are cool artists. But, like, beyond that, I just don't care about it at all. I don't care about the characters, don't care about the world, don't care about the setting, don't care about anything. It's just not interesting to me. Not for me. If you like it, awesome. I heard people did like Arcane, and some people did, and good for them. But I don't care. Arcane is not for me. I'm not its target audience. It doesn't appeal to me. So I don't even worry about it. I'm not gonna be like start consuming product and be like, make a space for me. It's like no. What if the false China version of your game after release? The best way to get around CCP censors is just to simply create a pirate version and then release it into the Chinese internets. Then there's nothing they can do about it. Yes, Spook. It's not for me because I know enough about League of Legends to know I don't care. Like, I do not care about League of Legends setting. I do not care about the universe. I do not care about the characters. It's not for me. I haven't watched it because it's still under the same umbrella of that IP. I don't care about it. Like, I have zero interest in Arcane. Zero interest in Lost League of Legends or whatever. So I read briefly about it. I played the game a little bit, and I think we streamed a while back, and I like the art style, but beyond that, I really don't want to see it anymore. Like, not because I hate it or anything, just I don't want to consume that type of media. Don't want it. Does not interest me in the slightest. I have limited time, and there's far more interesting things in my palette that I'm going to consume. Because I'd rather play the new SWTOR expansion, assuming it's not garbage. Hopefully it isn't, but you never know. Well, thank you for the Mudmuns. You don't really need to know a lot about LoL to watch it. That being said, like I said, it never really clicked for me even after watching the LOT. Watching the lot. Kibs hears a knock on the door. Haru. Oh my god. Terrible. What if they require you to have stuff like colorblind modes or other actual accessibility features? What? Those things are good, actually. Accessibility for a game is good. Making different things be accessible for players is a good thing. That's actually one thing I actually gave to, what was it? That shitty game, Last of Us Part 2. They had a lot of accessibility options for handicapped people, which is nice. Like, if you do have color blindness, there should be color blindness settings. It's just a nice thing to have. It's only a little bit of effort to set up. I've talked with my team about setting it up in our game, and they said it's pretty easy to do. So yes, we're going to do that. Because I think there should be accessibility options, because some people are colorblind. And it might be hard to read the text. It might be hard to see the pictures and the game art. And I think we should make it accessible because, well, number one, they're going to pay to buy the game, so they're another consumer, an interested customer. So we should obviously try to appease the customer in that regard. Making it so that they can at least consume the product is the bare minimum. So game reviewer easy mode? Indeed. So why is it the end times? I said probably not, though. Doge, there's 3 other lines of text. He's like, Doge can't read, Kib. 3 words at a time. That's 4, Doge. You fucked up. Including turning off the zombie's ability to detect you, as Mahler discovered. Discovered? What do you mean? It's like when you start up the game, it's like the first thing you can do. Like, it's like accessibility options. Like, how do you miss that? I could see me missing it because I just don't care. But yes, you can disable the zombie's ability to detect you. Honestly, those options don't harm anything, actually. It's not even... Like, you can't even negatively criticize those things, because it's basically just cheat mode. Having more options for the player's consumption is not a negative trait, and should never, under any circumstance, be considered a negative trait. It is a popular trend, however, to consider a lot of things Last of Us Part 2 did as negative, purely because it is Last of Us Part 2. And that's fair because it is a terrible game, but the thing is, there's some things the game did that weren't terrible. And the things that those are very small and few, generally, yes. But there are some things it did all right. Number one, having options and accessibility options. There's nothing wrong with that. Having the ability to tweak things is fine. Having the ability to have different difficulty settings is fine. Like, that's just basic bitch game normally. If a game doesn't have basic bitch game modes, like easy, medium, and hard, then they're probably just lazy. Or there's some fartsy, artsy, artistic direction that they're going for. Something like that, for example. Play Zomboid, I really like watching it. We will play more of it this Friday. Project Zomboid is a rather fun game to stream, and we will stream more of it, indeed. Indeedly doodly. Unless it's an actual end. Game Journal Easy Mode would be a great name setting. No, I disagree. Purely on the basis that it ages and dates the game. One day people are going to be like, what's the Games Journal? Because they've gone extinct, right? And so I don't want to date a game by naming it after stupid memes and conventions that no longer make sense. Because the fucking Game Journal will be like a dinosaur. It'll have died out. It'll have gone extinct. People are like, what's the Games Journal mode mean? And they'll be like, I don't know, we've got to gaggle it, because gaggle is the new Google. Kibs subtly hating the Souls games there. Yes, I'm glad you noticed. That was a subtle jab at them, just because I don't like them. There's nothing wrong with not having a difficulty mode. I just like making jabs at Souls games because I hate them. I mostly just like them because I had friends who made me play them when I didn't want to play them and I wanted to play something else. I was like, I don't want to be here. Artemis Pal donates $5 say, will you make a game like Hyperdimension Neptunia? The dialogue is quite funny. Probably not. I know what that game is, but I'm mostly content on the games I want to make. Like, the universe I want to make is I mean, some people on the team said it's rather terribly dark, but you know, it's not that dark. It's very vibrant, I think. I like making things sad because, you know, sadness emphasizes happiness, right? One cannot have joy without suffering, right? You must have these things to contrast them. One cannot have, you know, happiness and joy without misery and depression. You need a little bit of both to highlight the good times. It makes the good times that much better. See, that's very reasonable. Chat, that's very reasonable. Look at live chat. Chat, you need to agree with me, chat. If you don't, you will die. Itarica donates a bit to say, is it okay then for a dev to make an artistic choice with the difficulty experience and have the game be hard? Yes, it is. It's totally fine. I'm just shitting on Dark Souls because I saw an easy opportunity. You can't take that away from me, Get a Real Cut. You can't take that away from me. I had that moment and I took it. What annoys me about Dark Souls isn't the fact that I dislike it. It's the fact that games journals have made it untouchable to criticism. I hate games journalists so much. Games journalists had to go and be remarkably bad at games and whine and bitch like little fucking pussies. And basically, now anytime anybody calls out Dark Souls for doing something bad or being bad at something, often they're like, get good, scrub. It's like, don't be a journo. It's like, no, it's not about journos. Stupid fucking journos. Stupid journals are making it impossible for game criticism because they'll come along and they'll just ruin a discussion because they're idiots and they have nothing of value to add. It's like with Lost Ark. Lost Ark has genuine things to be critical about. For example, the whole censorship thing that Lost Ark did. Cringe. Disgusting. Awful. Then fucking Kotaku's like, excuse me, I'm gonna come in here and say something about, like, it's problematic. Shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking cares, you absolute rejects, about what your filthy fucking opinion is. You don't even like video games. The only reason why you cover them is because you failed at becoming like an actual journalist because you couldn't fake it good enough there. And so now we're stuck dealing with the leftover crap that you shit fuck spew out. Oh my god, it's absolutely terrible. I hate games journalists so much. Viking Kiwi donates $10 say you should stream yourself playing Dark Souls. Oh god. Oh god. I don't want to. I was about to be like, yeah, pay me. And I'm like, no, I didn't want to be paid to do it. I just don't like the Dark Souls games. I didn't mind Sekiro. I was terrible at it, but I actually enjoyed it. The entire time I was dying over and over again. I had fun with it. I died to that fucking giant boss like 30 times, chat. Maybe 40. And every time it kept getting funnier. I was like just playing it up. Sekiro, I actually enjoyed Sekiro. Mostly because you were a lot more offensive in that game. And something about that really clicked with me, whereas Dark Souls just didn't. Half and half. No, back up. Back up again. There we go. Artemis Fowl donates $5 say Kibs is abused by Arch so much that he wants to make a game where he can be the cruel, uncaring god who the characters curse for their misfortune. That's not true. I was joking. It's like when I joked about Celeste being evil, and now you guys won't let it go. I'm like, oh yeah, she'll just genocide the planet one day, and you're like, oh my god, literally demon child. And it's like, okay, come on, guys. Look it, she's just a tiny little grill. What could she possibly do? Another like witch, and they're saying all these things, which are all false. I'll have you know. Artemis, get a real kid donates 20 bits to say fuck yeah, Dark Souls. God damn it. Look, I love Earth Defense Force. Earth Defense. Where's Earth Defense Force 6? Let's change the subject here. Quiet you. But still, kids, get good, scrub. I just don't. I got past like some of the Dark Souls boss. In 3, I got fairly far into it with some friends, but like, I just don't really like it. I would probably like it a lot more. There's that one Harebrained Schemes game that was kind of like Dark Souls. That was called like Acropolis or something like that. That was cool because it was 4-player co-op and it was entirely based around that, but there's not enough content. The game needs like several dozen mods. Necropolis was really cool, and I actually enjoyed it. Whereas I normally don't enjoy those style of games, mostly boils down to the combat system. I kind of want to echo Bubble's sentiment about the combat and just say that, not a big fan. Chatlore says Celeste is a racist, simple ass. True. When she, when Celeste, becomes a god, or goddess in her case, she'll find Terra, because, of course Terra is going to be there, because of course, you gotta have these things conveniently fit into this narrative that chat's making up, and then she'll be like, I don't like black people, and then she'll just erase Africa. And they'll be like, thanks, chat. They're like, no problem, bro. That's terrible, chat. You should feel bad. You shouldn't feel. It's a very abrupt hatred, too. And a very abrupt reason to do that. It's like, I don't want to erase it. Like, okay, interesting. I mean, it is interesting in how abrupt it is, but I find it more comical, if anything else. Oh my god, that's terrible. Half and Half donates $5 say, have you heard of the game Interdimensional Engineer? No, I have not. I have no idea what that is. Because you donated, I'm going to Google it, because you're probably going to be like, you should check it out. And you'll donate again, and then I'll feel bad, because you donated twice for the same question, technically. Thank you for the donation, by the way. I'm not opening that. That looks like a porn game. Chat. Chat bad. Chat bad. Now that's gonna be in my search history. I thought it would be fine to... No, chat. No. Yeah, well, you're going to hell, chat. You're specifically Half and Half. Regular Squealy Kitty donates $2 say, don't stream Dark Souls because I'll be miserable. Don't worry, I'd be miserable too. I'm so glad my evil Celeste truth has finally caught on. The Squealy Kitty. Firstly, it was me who said the joke. You just hijacked it and turned it into a narrative. Squealy Kitty's like, it doesn't matter. Squealy Kitty thinks that Squealy Kitty's smart. Hate me, racial cripples. Simple as evil goddess Celeste. Oh my god. Now she's gonna apparently become a goddess, and now she's apparently evil. Celeste is not evil, says Draconis. Oh no. Now I question why he's saying that. Enjoy getting 50% hentai game recommends. It's okay, it's under my Google. So you know what? It's fine. It's not gonna be on Steam or anything. CIA is disappointed in your search history, Kibs. They probably are. They're probably like, God, why don't you just look up something like actually terrible or something? And meanwhile, Kibs is like, how to make macaroni. What's the correct amount of butter again? Just the correct amount. It's really lame shit. I'm sorry. How to make your stream less crap. I think I probably did that a long time ago, maybe younger. Oh god, it's a Ratchet and Clank porn game. Why? Yeah. I wasn't gonna say what it was, but you went and looked. Blessed is Satan incarnate. You're cruel. You're cruel, chat. You're all gonna feel so bad later. I'm gonna hurt you, chat, in terrible ways. I'm gonna use Celeste to do it. I'm gonna use... Eldegusta went and looked it up too, goddamn. Can we force to play EA Sports? Yeah, $10,000 and I'll play an EA Sports game. There you go. Fuck. And for 5 minutes. Good luck. See, you just set a limit. You just set it so far out of reach that they'll just give up hope of ever getting it. And if you do get it, well, you shit yourself a little bit, and you go like, huh, suckers. Depends on the mac and cheese. It's true. I like Celeste, though. She's not evil. How do you know if you like her? How do you know she's not evil? Have you guys even heard a single line of dialogue from her? No. No. I think only some people in chat know how she says hello, which is like EO or something like that. If I remember right. I haven't touched languages in so long because, honestly, if I wanted to write languages for Legend of Terrestrial, I'd need to write one, two. I need to make, like, Astrian, then I need to make Southern and Northern dialect, and that'd be cringe. Take forever. That would unironically take forever. If I had unlimited funding, I probably would, to be honest. But that's one of those magical things that's never going to happen. That would require me just, you know, tripping, breaking my leg, and being like, wow, look, $100 billion came out of it. Somehow. Because I sued somebody. I was like, hey, got him. She says, yo. Oh my god. Little, like, sideways hat like a gangster now. No, it's like E, or I don't remember how it's spelled, but it's like this. Something like that. Viking Kiwi donates 50 North Koreans to say, Stream Dark Souls, get lots of Dark Souls fans, get more money from said Dark Souls fans, spend that said money on developing games, stream DS squeak. See, the problem is, just streaming a game doesn't mean all the fans of it are gonna immediately come crawling to me and be like, yes, come to me, Papa Kibs. Because, firstly, I'll be bad at the game, because I am not good at Dark Souls games. Secondly, I don't know. I have no idea. They probably just won't. And thirdly, I don't want to. Get a real cut donates a bit to say, does Disco voice act all the little people in the game? Nah. We're gonna actually hire professional voice actors and actresses. A gangster Celeste said, what? Giggles, are you feeling okay? Giggles, like, giggles might be high. That's funny. If I had unlimited funding, I would bail to the Caribbean and get a new name. Why? Shadov. See, I just fund my game. Oh god, if I had unlimited funding, I would not only make the game, I'd make like fucking full-blown anime. Be so awesome. Maybe make it a prequel about Emperor Chondrius and his brother Nidus and the War of the Father. That'd be so cool. Maybe even go further back and do the Battle of Broken Storms. That'd be so cool. That would require retardo amounts of money though, because I want it to be like highly. I don't want like cheap animations like that crap we see on modern TV. I want the high-end stuff, the good shit. Stuff that's well out of reach. Kibs is the Dark Souls of VTubers. Ugh, no, cringe. Half and half donates 5 cents. I would donate for Dark Souls. What's the pot at? I don't know. Somebody autistic in chat can go look. I don't want to encourage this behavior. We tried, but Disco came up short. Right in the dinko. Hands. If I had unlimited funding, I would make Kibs do embarrassing VTuber stuff for funding. I wouldn't be that opposed to it because I would get funding. But I'd hate myself. But at least we'd have funding. You don't recognize a bit, say I will chip in for Dark Souls. You see? With 1 bit. Kibs streams Dark Souls chat is empty. He hears funking looks. Listen, chat, you'll have better luck convincing me to play Elden Ring than you will Dark Souls. Because, number one, Elden Ring is going to come out soon. Or is it already out? I don't even know. It's new and shiny. Means you'll get new shiny subs. And it's not an oversaturated market. Because Dark Souls, I'm pretty sure, is oversaturated. I mean, obviously, Bickering Bunch fans will watch it. But, you know what? Bickering Bunch fans are just kind of like, you know, bottom tier. They're like, what? Okay. Viking Kiwi donates 50 North Koreans to say, people who are bad at Dark Souls, man, is the funniest to watch playing it. I don't think so. The what chat? Oh my God! See, that's no. It's like the no. Getting mad. I'm not gonna think about it anymore. Artemis Fowl says, I know, that's why I would do it. Terrible. Would you adopt to using a VTuber model if you got one for free? If somebody paid to have it rigged and set up, more or less, and all I had to do was get the camera equipment and the lighting, yeah, because it's half and half. I would go the other halfway. But that, like, it would have to be, like, not, oh God, like, it'd be like the shitty cheap one. Because I know no. Tell you what, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Here's the catch. It's got to be high quality, top-notch stuff. Oh God. Oh no, that's terrible. Don't do it, Chan. It's bad for you, bad for me. I'll have to end myself. Viking Key. I read that already. I read that already too. Read that? I read all of that. Elbin wrong. Bob boring because see, I know, right? Listen, Bob, I'm milking them. Terrible. There you go, VTuber fans. Don't let your dreams be memes. Okay, so high quality and all the jiggle physics. Oh my God, that's so cringe. Yeah, high quality. The jiggle physics, I don't even care about, honestly. It's terrible. That's actually terrible, chat. Because then I'm gonna have to learn how to, like, act it up more. You know how cringy that is? That's me going like, you know, like little retarded faces and stuff. Oh, no. Oh, the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. That's terrible. So, Kibs, what would be the cost for a cooking stream or some cooking vids? I mean, I'm not going to be cooking anything interesting, if that's what you're asking. Ooh, Kibs disaster pizza stream. This is like, oh, he fucked up the dough again. It's like, it still tastes good, just, you know, the dough's just can never do the dough right. It always looks like a potato. All it takes is your dignity. Oh, chat. Look at you, chat. You have raised funding this month by a lot. You have done it, chat. You have done it. Now I can buy more art assets. Oh, got it. But what art assets should we buy? I think more miniatures, and I think more concept art. And I think that we'll burn through it really quick. It'll be great. Oh, my spine. Artemis Foul donates. Make sure none of you are drunk if you're donating, by the way, because I get a little nervous when you guys are overly generous, because I get paranoid that somebody's like, well, I'm a little drunk, and then they empty their bank account. Ever since Maury did it, I can't unforget it. Where Maury accidentally emptied his bank account because he added a few extra zeros. But that was terrible, because refunding that sucked. Because the problem is with refunding money is that a little bit of money actually has to be lost in the process, going back and forth. So it's like, ugh. It's terrible, chat. Never overdo it. Vulpus donates 5 years to say, new pot for Elden Ring it is then. You just get them to start more pots, chat, so that they'll never fill any of them. Somebody needs to keep track of this, because I'm not keeping track of this. You can write it down. And then post it in the Discord server under the Bickering Bunch discussions, and then at me. If it reaches something enough to guilt trip me into doing it, then maybe. Guilt trip me. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Now, Kibs, knowing chat, the VTuber avatar would either be a Shota Cap. Ugh. No, it's got to be Cat Girl Aerith. Artemis Foul. I'll say fully funding Kibs game versus paying for the high-end VTuber models with jiggle physics. Cat dumps 6K on the cat trap model. God damn it. That'd be really cringe. Sadly, 6K won't fund the game. I know. Because I spend more than that. And have spent way more than that. It goes a long ways, but it's like maybe almost 2 months. Or a little less than 2 months. Actually, no. It's a little over. No. It's a little over 1 month in terms of paying. Oh, no. Fuck. Oh, Kibs, you're retarded at basic math again. Fuck. Help me cheat. Alright, so Takara donates 100 Sekiros to say, is Frank Klepacki music license free? Because you need some more of that on your playlist. I believe so. Most of it's available to use because it's streamed on video games and stuff. Frank Klepacki has got some great music. Get a look at donates 100 bits to say, in the 41st millennium, Catgirls, Aerith is dead. And Arch killed her. True. Bring back Lurking Hunger. Lurking Hunger Season 1 is where it ended, and it ended, like, the only way it would ever come back is we need Alldog, we need Bubbles, and maybe just make it a threesome, you know? And just finish the game storyline, like, as like a short campaign or something. But good luck getting them all back together. Getting the band back together would require some major work on my part. Which I don't have the patience to even begin laying the groundwork for. You know how long it took to do Season 2? To get that groundwork laid out? And then look at where that went. Out the window. Tragic. There were some good moments in Season 2, but Season 2 suffered from YouTuber syndrome again. But all you gotta do is find YouTubers that aren't those kind, and you're just gonna be golden. I mean, I miss Lurking Hunger, but more so Season 1 because it was so much fun first time. But it'll never be back, chat. We need to let it go. We need to let it go. Ooh. Oh no, Kibs, I just found out I am drunk. I will empty bank account and then refund everything back. Dobbs wants to try a threesome. Good, you can't spell. Kibs, ever play CNC Vampire? Wait, what? Oh, CNC Renegade. Somebody else's comment popped up, and I was like, what? CNC Renegade. Yeah, I did. I was thinking about streaming it one day, but, like, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to run, if I remember right. And by kinda, I mean it is. I mean, bring back my Nazi vampires, damn it. That's not going to come back for the very specific reason of it literally can't be streamed in today's climate. It is too close to the line. Too much of a risk. And I don't want Arch to really risk losing his channel over, you know, that. That'd be terrible. What, Kibs? You don't like arguing in circles for hours? No. Don't. The Vampire Game had a lot of that. Like, the Vampire campaign is, I think in my opinion, it's below Lurking Hunger Season 2. Like, it wasn't good for some things, but it had a lot of, like, fun parts. Like, there were fun parts, make no mistake. But it felt a little bit discombobulated. I can't quite put my finger on why. Oh well. There was fun elements, though, but it just didn't really have the atmosphere. Like, I can't put my finger on why, though. There was too much, I think there was too much, it kind of had what Lurking Under Season 2 had. Too many arguments with the GM where everyone would just argue. Too many rule changes abruptly or on certain things where things were just confusing. Which also what Season 2 had, where just rule abruptly changes. I mean, Skaven campaign has a little bit of that, like when it comes to like abrupt rule changes and stuff. Like one we had, which was like literally 15 minutes before a session started. It's like, oh yeah, we're changing the combat rules. And it's like, oh boy. Or we were doing them wrong all along, and so we had to change them, or something like that. And it just, it sucks when that happens, because it's like, you think you have everything figured out, and then it's like, oh, you gotta relearn it. Or, oh, something's different because all the balance are changed. Like, I hate rules that change. I want rules to stay the same. Or be consistent. That was Dev. I don't want to think about it anymore. Let's see. Dev shot the dude. Blah, blah, blah. Vampire campaign. Not relevant to Kibs anymore. Kibs waddled away. Is Kibs dying? Not yet. But maybe. Kibs is just decompressing a little. Because we have one more renewal, hopefully, to get through, and then maybe it'll be finally a big break, and we'll have a long contract or something. I hope so. Tragedy, chant. Tragedy. Oh, wait, what? Get donates a bit 100 bits to say, bring back Lurking Hunger. Oh, I think I read that already. This cough, furries cough. Chonky line was funny. Chonky line was funny. Didn't VTM end because you BFOs rigged? Nah. It actually ended for other reasons. Reasons that I'm not gonna disclose, though. Reasons that we'll say were in existence long before my arrival. The VTM campaign ending was probably an inevitable thing and probably should have happened a while ago. Because when I arrived on scene, like, Arch told me that things were pretty messy. He also talked up a lot. And then I got there and found out it was a clusterfuck. Which is interesting. Campaign had fun elements, though. But there were some deeply rooted problems with the campaign. There was just, what's the word? Bad chemistry. And Barch even knew. That's why Barch invited me to begin with, because he needed help getting through it. And the only way for Barch to survive was to bring the Kibs, the savior. The person you call to a campaign when things are going south. True. Fact. Science even. Just like, what? No. Y'all ever think about horror-themed RP could be a short run? That's what Lurking Hunger Season 1 is. It is a horror campaign. We're literally fighting as, like, peasants against, like, in a dying world that's forgotten by the Imperium, and we're trying to escape it as it's slowly corrupted and twisted, and the world begins to fall apart around us. The campaign ended when we fled to an underhive in one of the undercities, the big hive cities, right? Of what was left of humanity on the planet. The planet had been abandoned for hundreds of years, or something along that line, maybe even thousands. I'm not sure. Arch brought you in to murder the RP? No. But he did bring me in to clean it up. You're like, what does that mean? To make things improved. I do remember what was strange about being in that RP was being the only one who roleplayed a little bit. And then getting people to follow me. The amount of subscribers I gained from that were like, wow, you roleplayed. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not very good at it. But thank you. Thank you. I try, but I'm not very good at it. And that's okay. You don't have to be good at it to have fun. Bruno is a fun character. I did tell Arch if we do it again, I want to reroll Bruno. If we're going to do it again. Because Bruno's character was fun. He was definitely a nice breakup between Aerith. Because Bruno was a lot more serious and just kind of evil. Like, his desires and motive sheet was actually rather interesting. It was kind of interesting to see where Bruno's decisions were going to take him. If he survived. But to be fair, he was... Like, if I got into a hand-to-hand fight, because Arch said PvP was enabled, like, I can tell you, Bruno would win. If Bruno gets his hands on you, you're just fucking dead. Bruno's cool. I like Bruno. I might recycle that character idea into something later. It's a good template. I've ran games where people didn't RP much. Then I bring someone who was good at it, and it helped other players come out of their shells a bit more. I mean, that's kind of why Arch invited me. Also because he just wanted to play with me too. Because we're friends, more or less. I mean, more or less. We are. Sorry, I cut my fucking gum again. I keep doing that. I don't know how. I've ran games where people didn't RP. I've read that. Some may question your right to end an RP of many viewers and characters whose... I can't read because the mouse didn't work. Characters, those who understand, realize you had no right to let it live. My god, what are you even... What? Some may question your right to end an RP of many viewers and characters. Those who understand realize you had no right to let it live. Kibs never ended the RP, though. The RP ended for very different reasons. Reasons that I'm not going to disclose here. Reasons that I'm not... It was out of my hands. It was gonna happen no matter what. Some of you know. Hero Yoi 45. God, why? The name always makes me think Hero Guy. He says, donate $5, say funds for the VTuber set, lol. Think I'm gonna pay for that? No, that's your job. You go make me one. I can't believe this boast considering Bruno managed to uppercut a fucking werewolf. That's true. He did. He beat the shit out of a werewolf. Once. Because again, if Bruno can get off the first punch, like, it's gonna hurt. It's still, like, in a hand-to-hand fight, he would have probably lost against a werewolf, though. I'm gonna be honest. But he would leave a few fucking marks though. A good fucking amount of scars and maybe a broken arm. I've never played Battlefield Gothic. The reference is lost on him. I mean, I bought Battlefield Gothic, played it for like an hour or two, and was like, this is kind of boring. Like, oh, it sounded so cool. It was like, oh, cool, like 140k space battles, like that sounds awesome. And then I played them, like, this kind of sucks. Like, everything's just kind of boring to play, and just not very fun. I don't know. Battlefield Gothic Armada 1 and 2, like, I tried both, and I wanted to like both, but they just did not click with me at all. Like, they just, like, no, they just didn't. They didn't do it. And thank you for the donation. Let's see. Hold on, chat. Damn, I got a lot of DMs. My God. I assume from people that donated. Very good, chat. Very good. You understand that you need to get your rankus. I am proud of you, chat. Now that you know that there are things coming, those miniatures being the first thing. That's still going to be a month or two. We have to make the website, but it's almost there. Actually, they'll probably... Depends on how long it takes for Emma to get them and Baffios to get them fully tested and ready. But once I've got them all tested and ready, we probably can hand them out a little bit before they're available for purchase, I think, actually, for those who donated the correct amount. I squint. Greedy mustache twirls. You should do a drunk stream. I refuse to have a rank. Too bad, Artemis. I know you've donated now. The rank is about getting access to the lifetime access fucking Chamber of Squeakrits room. You trust me. You're going to want access to it. STLs? Yes. And if you're asking what an STL is, that's what I believe is the name of the file type that the 3D models are made. Once you have your STL, you can then, go print your own. We're selling the STL files. We're not going to sell miniatures because, well, shipping and logistics, like, it's just no way. No way we can even form a tabletop company and stand a chance against companies like GW and things like that. We need to be underground. We're the undercats, so to speak. We need to think outside the box, and we need to be smart. We're going to sell the files, and we're going to let people print their own minis. And so if you buy a cohort of Astrian Legionnaires or, Spearmen or whatever, you can print as many as you want because you have the STL file. You want, to have 4 cohorts of them, you can print 4. How we'll differentiate it is we'll just accept... There's 2 ways. The first way is we'll be like, hey, if you want to support us in making more of these, please consider donating. And then, people want to be generous and be charitable and donate, then great. Besides purchasing the file. And the other way is just by making different types. Like, each house will have their own unique troops, right? So, while the Astrian faction will all play by more or less the same core rule sets, except some of the sub-houses, like House Concordia, because they have the Seaborn, and that will be a unique rule set for them. Each house will be given their own unique troops for some things, but they will more or less use the same core rule set. But you'll have different cosmetics. So it's like, okay, you're a house, House Lonium, they'll have the House Lonium's fabled longbows that they have up there. Or if you're House Torius, they have their heavy legionnaires, which is just like these heavy troops. Why don't you sponsor 3D printers as well? I'm not going to sponsor. That requires me to pay mun-muns for things. Listen, chat. Then I was also thinking of making the miniatures, then we're going to put them on Tabletop Sim, so then people can play the tabletop game there. It's honestly the most pro-consumer thing I think ever in existence, and we'll see how terribly it fails and backfires. Because we put our faith in the consumer. And then when we're poor and everything failed, I'll hate and loathe consumers. Will be like, they must die. Something like that. Good night, little Black Raven. Your treason will be remembered. It's like, okay. Why do you say bibs? Thank you for the nice stream. Gotta go sleep. Bye, Kibs. And of course, to chat. Awesome chat. Good night, Bulbus. Take care, buddy. Oop. Have a manufacturer send you one and do a sponsorship. I don't have the space for it. And honestly, I'm not going to do that. That complicates things drastically. It is easier to not. The less other external affiliates things BDS has to worry about, the better. We are the Undercats for a reason, because we are better than everyone else. Just like, uh-oh, delusions of grandeur. No, I just can't be fucked, really. I'm already doing so much, and that's just one thing I don't want to do. I don't have space in my apartment. Probably could make space, but I don't want to. Definitely emphasis on the don't want to, as in I already had Fairman get a 3D printer, as in I already bought one for Fairman, and then he's going to handle the test prints, because I don't want to do it, because I already have so much work to do. I don't want to do anything else. I'm kind of burnt out on working to death, you know? Love the disco model? The disco model's not even done yet. In fact, she's not even started. Oh, you're talking about that. Those aren't for sale. Those are just going to be free. Oh. The Skaven minis. Mostly because the rats and don't care. That's Warhammer. Yay. Make it cringe. Dislike Warhammer. Dislike GW. Want it to burn. Having delusions of grandeur, but the delusion is to have enough money to run the AC. Listen, Artemis, I could run the AC. I just elect not to, because I'm a little snowflake and I don't want it. Like, but you're gonna melt, though. It's like, true. Part of being a man is all about melting in your own snowflake stew. Cockroaches probably would be attracted to the warmth of the machine. Oh. Well, when you put it that way, I definitely don't want it. Now let's see. Oh yeah, in regards to channel, right? Channel is YouTube. The Total War Warhammer 3 stream is coming up, and I think you guys haven't seen this because I know the Chamber of Squeakers people have. I will actually start giving people access to. Also, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm going to bring it up in the next meeting. I kind of touched up on it before, and everyone was kind of okay with it, but I want to confirm. So I'm going to do it in the next meeting, next Saturday. But I was thinking of doing weekly reports on the video game's progress. Just like, hey, if Robin's still working on this, you know, he's still working on this. Starting to go a little bit more public with that information. I miss cockroaches. Once the cell towers were introduced to my city, they all left. What the actual fuck, though? What the actual fuck, indeed. Big thankies. Right, now that I read something that disturbed me greatly. It's fine. Oh my god. Terrible. Is V going to be playing? I don't know. Problem is, can I contact V on Discord still? Are we even friendos? Yes, we are. I will let him know of the, you call it, the stream date. Hold on. God damn it, Carlos. Alright, fine. I'll share this with chat. We were talking about the naval ships. Now, our ships are a little bit more advanced, but, like... Carlos posted a trireme. Like the forest. Oh god, I can't even pronounce those names. That's pretty good. That's quite monstrous. Quite monstrous indeed. Little chat. Let's see. It'd be good to get the updates. I was just about to ask if you had a site. We're actually working on the website construction right now. Yeah. I thought Arch said he wouldn't play Total War Warhammer 3. Don't worry, I made things happen. Later I have to go record a comic strip thing that's gonna be fucking cringe, and I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it because that's part of the deal. But yes, he will be playing Total Warhammer 3, and he will be there. And I made that happen. You're welcome, chat. It came at a great cost. To my soul. Sharon donates 10 Kanaki bucks, say, hey Kibs, you and Bart should do Battletech Solaris night in TTS. Or something. Probably will. It's on the list. So I kind of want to learn how to play it by myself before I do it, so I have some knowledge. Because I've never learned how to do a tabletop game by myself. So I should figure it out. Or chat should figure it out for me or something. I don't know. You're not using Apache for the server, are you? Never heard of it. I have the domain secured, and our lead programmer, who is a fucking demigod when it comes to programming, is going to handle the other stuff. And there was no mention of Apache the last thing I talked to. I don't even know what that is. What did it cost you? My cheeks. Oh no. Let's see. Some Squeakoromat was dropped and Arch is now on board. Squeakoromat. I don't even know what the heck that is. Don't worry. We made things happen. Now we have the power, chat. The deal was for him to finish his debt to Dota and play Blood Bowl. Fools. Y'all play Blood Bowl. Thanks, Kibs. I actually hoped he would play Total Warhammer 3. You're welcome, Shadab. Let it be said that Kibs is the one who moves mountains. Builds ego while no one's here to degrade Kibs. You meet and shows up. I'm like, I'm a god. And he's like, oh god, here we go again. You want me to black box the server? The what server? The what? Listen, I'm not really gonna worry about external help when it comes to the server. I'm gonna trust Tyler to do his stuff. I'm not here to oversight and be that fucking creative director that's like Peter Molyneux's like, oh hey guys, like I come up with the designs, I submit the designs, and I let them do their work, and I don't interfere with what they're doing because that's their job to do their thing. Not my job to go over there and fucking distract them. Are you going to get Pipkin Pipa on Archcast? Firstly, it's an e-thought. Probably never. Secondly, I hope to God never. E-thoughts. Ugh, disgusting. Fake people. They're even faker than regular content creators. They're faker than other e-thoughts. Ugh. It's an e-thought that wears a mask. Like, how fake can you get? I'm not a fan of VTubers, mostly because it's just e-thoughts 2.0. And the best part is, in our community, several people have now begun to come forward and be like, Kibs, you're right. And I'm like, thank you. I know. I'm kidding. But I'm not kidding about the part where they've actually come forward and said I was right. Because I am. It's true. Blood Bowl is cancer. And you're cancer for suggesting it, chat. Cancer. I just have someone beat Arch, then he will stop playing Blood Bowl. He is truly a soft little Norwegian. This is true. This is true. I believe Barch said that it was your job to do it. I don't even know what you're talking about. I already forgot. Boopity scoopity. But yes, when it comes to the server stuff, I'm sure Tyler's got it handled. One must place confidence in one's underlings. I'm kidding. Tyler's a good lad. But you can't constantly be always fucking thwacking them. Because that's, number one, the sign of, what's the sign of a terrible leader? There's, the common thing I see when it comes to a lot of indies is daddy's rich boy, you know, who's coming into the indie scenes like, daddy is bankrolling me, daddy money. Like, yeah, they work on their father's company. Same like I do, right? Because I do that too. But I didn't grow up in daddy's money, because I grew up on, where my money gonna be? We had money, and then we lost it all. So we learned what it's like to be on the potato side of things. And let me tell you, it's not fun. Kibs is just jelly that in 3 months Peepa has grown 400% times his size. Yeah. It's a chick. Chicks are gonna outpace Kibs easily. Kibs is a dude. Content creation isn't fair. It never was. And you know what? That's fine. That's the life of being a male content creator. You gotta get good or get fucked. Also, we're actively... I don't think we're actually under too much suppression. I know everyone says that we're probably heavily suppressed, but honestly, I don't really buy that. Because we are steadily growing. And if you guys keep promoting us via word of mouth, like, we'll probably continually grow, honestly. Yeah, sure, it's slow. But I don't think we're suppressed. Everyone seems to think it, though. Every other content creator I talk to. They're like, dude, you're so heavily suppressed. You should just make a new channel. And I'm like, no. I'm not gonna. Even if I am heavily suppressed, I'll overcome this barrier, even if I am. Because you know what? I'm just that good. And also too autistic to quit. You ever need to do a Pokemon Smash or Pass? No! We're not doing that cringy, clickbaity bullshit. Get good or get fucked. So this means Kibs is getting bread. No, it isn't. Kibs is getting good. And we're overcoming every obstacle. Slowly but surely, chat. Yeah, how come we're not super big yet? Come on, chop chop. It's your job to make my channel bigger, chat, not mine. They're like, what the fuck? Big sad chat. If we use your mouth, we can raise the channel to new heights. I don't think you want to use a cat girl's tongue, because you'd have to use Aerith, because I'm not available. Scrapiness. Scrapies. Have you seen barbed tongues, chat? Little prickly bits? Big sad. There's one fucking funny little picture I saw in the memes where there's a dude about to get like head and he's like, hell yeah, it's like a cat girl. And like he leans back, you know, about ready to go like, yeah. Except instead of yeah, it's just like a painful scream. It's like, yes. Suffer. That's kind of funny. I don't know, but I found that remarkably hilarious. It's a bonus. Terrible chat. A good way of getting rid of smeg. Okay, chat. All right. I think you've had too much to drink, chat. I think it's time for you to calm down, chat. Take a big, deep breather, chat. Clearly. Big thinkies. Oh, damn. Look, chat. If we use your... Whoa, not reading that again. It's a good way. Nope. You're the one who devours all the new people the second they come in, hence hampering the channel's growth, while bolstering the growth of your waistband. Wow. I just picture, like, a fucking fat little Aerith, and just, like, somebody new walks on the road, just grabbing, like, whoa. No. It's terrible, chat. And some fucking vor fetishist is gonna get off to that. See, I thought it was funny because it's like, lol, just kill that person. But no, weird people have to get off on that shit. Now it's not funny anymore. Now it's sad and creepy. The rest of the game, what? I'd say Arch looking like an ogre is fabulous. The rest of the game looks nice too. Oh yeah, we got Hanse, we got Boog, we got Dinko, we got Dinko Cat, we got Aerith, we got fucking Smucky, we got Barch, we got Fairbear. Bubbles costs way too much to get him to join, and I'm not gonna pay Bubbles to join. I'm going to force Bubbles to play Total War Warhammer 3 later. Oh man, it's gonna suck. Oh, Total War 3 is gonna be awful at launch. I just know it. It's gonna be hell. Everyone's gonna be whinging and complaining the entire fucking time. It's gonna be awful. And I'm gonna be. Thing is, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's Total War Warhammer. I'm bored, right? But like, I'm gonna get more annoyed because everyone's gonna whinge about the game, and I'm gonna be annoyed by that because like, I'm already annoyed. It's gonna be special. Oh man. No, computer, no. Started to do the thing, chat. The thing it always does. Look, chat. Behold, chat. Behold. You can see other things. Still early work on Pyria. Just shaping things out, by the way. Specifically the capital island, or, well, the capital section. It is sectioned off by a river, so technically it is an island. It is coming together quite nicely, chat. I have hiccups. Quite nicely. By the way, the Aerith miniature, if you haven't seen it already. It's taking a long time, though. But yeah, the miniatures turned out okay for the test print. There's some tweaks and alterations that are being made. It's based on the Sala's rendition of Aerith, where she has a giant-ass gun with a bayonet. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Looks like a city, that city from Skyrim. That doesn't help me, Artemis Fowl. I don't even know what that is. Much work to be done on the palace, though. We're still shaping it out. Different ideas for the actual shape of the palace itself, which is the first section of the game. Ideas, internals, walls. So much work is going into this. You have no... But you can have an idea based on some of the stuff. What was this? This was a more spread out version because we were trying to feel it out. But yes, things are coming together. Once we have the palace finished for the city, it'll be great. Oh, the buildings? Yes. Looks like an actual believable medieval city, unlike what you'd see in a lot of fantasy. Yeah, that's definitely an aim here. when it comes to a lot of the structures and Legends of Terrestria, you're not going to see like ridiculous fantasy structures generally. Every structure is relatively crafted with an idea that it actually was built, and the methodology roughly is understood behind how it was constructed. Like the history of this specific point in the city is this is part of an old fishy village and stuff like that. Good night, Juho. But yes. And this used to be like temple grounds, but then they converted it into a palace. Still has a temple on it, but the temple has moved into a different sector of the city. And it's not too hard for them to move temples if need be, because the ruling house is considered to have basically a holy bloodline. Don't worry, they totally didn't have any say on that. Can't show you too much, though. Otherwise you'll be spoiled, and when you're spoiled, you'll have all the... This is kind of like the location, by the way. Like that's the palace is like up on an area, by a river. Just earlier concepts and stuff like that. Because the walls go out here, and then buildings are up along here as well. But yes, that's where the palace is. We're just trying to feel out the shape of it. The Seagate Towers, raisable sea chains, you know, bridges and stuff like that. There's an inner wall, if I remember right there. The wall extends out to like this, sorta. But yeah, we're working on it. It's coming together. Period's taken a long time. It's a massive undertaking, because we got to do the infrastructure, the city design. It's a lot of work. So those are the random giant ruins and bones. I hate that about Total War Warhammer and Troy. You enable the fantasy mythos thing and you look off to the side and there's just giant skeletons in the ground. And the problem I have with that is like it ruins everything. That's why Terrestria is like, it is science fantasy. Make no mistake. But like it's constructed in such a way that anything that's impressive is impressive because it actually has weight and gravity to it. Like, it actually is like, okay, somebody built that. It's not just a giant skull that some 3D modeler enlarged and plopped there and it has no soul. It's about as corporate as it fucking comes. Like, everything is carefully, meticulously laid out. The whole project has got more soul than probably most AAA games. But that's not a compliment or saying much because, well, that's just the nature of how things are right now. That goes for a lot of other indies, too. Going to add this commentary to the extra content. This commentary? I mean, we'll probably do like an actual developer commentary video about each section and then have proper interviews with the people on staff and stuff like that. We'll probably do it as like actual streams though to match the channel. And that'll probably be debuting on the channel more closer. Like I intend to do that with Bafios. We're going to do like a developer stream where we're going to talk about the miniatures, and it's going to be just Bafios, me, and we're going to talk about and Fairman as well. And we're going to talk about the production of the miniatures, how they were made, the plans for them, and how we proceed to go forward and stuff like that with the tabletop stuff. Boy. I don't even know what Solitude is. I think that's a place in Skyrim or something. But I hate Skyrim, so I don't play much of it. The real reason Kibs hates Dark Souls is because all the architecture is ridiculous. No, I don't actually, like, hate the game per se, but I hate a game mechanic specifically. In regards to inspiration, yes, there has been rooted inspiration from this layout helps a lot more, especially when you see domes. The domes actually isn't. It didn't necessarily stem directly from the Hagia Sophia, but it did stem from Eastern Roman architecture as a whole, as well as Persian architecture and a mixture of Greco-Roman influences. So you have a little, well, actually, it's Greco-Roman and Persian. was the root inspirations for the Astrian Empire. Now, one thing that's an important distinction to make is it's no longer like those distinctionalities don't have those what's the word? Don't have the misconception that when you play the game like, oh, they're Romans, because then they'll do something like that's not very Roman of you. No, they're not Roman. Will there be cavalry figures? I'm not sure if I've ever seen art of cavalry in Terrestria. They do have horses, correct? Yes, there are different types. The Nefira Court have their own special, like, bestial mount that they ride. That is local to them. Astria does use the horse. Other regions generally use the horse as well. Horses are fairly common, but there are other beasts of burden for certain cultures that permeate the land. The Nefira Court are notorious for some other stuff that we are working on with the Nefira Court lore updates, which have really bolstered their army and making them into actually kind of terrifying in terms of like how they're going to perform. It'll be interesting. I can't wait till we get to the Celestial Templars, though. They are going to be fucking awesome. They're going to be glorious. They are heavy shock cav, and they're going to be so cool. Or when we do specialist units, like the House Torius, like heavy legionnaire troops, which are just heavy armor. Similar in design to the Romans, with the Roman armor, but like heavier armor. But that's also a problem, because they are quite slow. That shit is heavy, and moving around on a battlefield and fighting is very difficult. But tough cookies to crack. Who's the Visigoth faction in your game? I see the Roman one. That's what I mean. You're gonna have to stop making Terran connections and Terrestrian connections. They're not the same. They share similarities. The reason for that, because you're gonna start looking for equivalencies that don't exist. And then that's gonna probably lead to, I don't know, actually. It depends on how you react to that. You're like, what? There's no Visigoths? It's like, yeah, no. There's no such thing as Romans and Visigoths on Terrestria. Because they each have their own deeply, rooted lore and how they came to be. All dating back at least as far back as we went basically to Bronze and Proto-Bronze age. It's like pre-Bronze. I forget what that's called. We have lore for all the way back to that. We have the Bronze Age, their Iron Age, and their Steel, which is where they're at now. Are there going to be trolls like Gaul trolls to counter the Roman humans? I don't know what that is. Gaul trolls? Trolls? No, there's no trolls. There's no elves, dwarves, or orcs or anything. Anything from is generally like they're the closest thing. Actually, there's no closest equivalency. There's other humans, like other types, like there's the Luminar and stuff like that. Shit-blooded barbarians. You think I write them so boringly like that? Like, yes, they subjugated the blank barbarian tribe. I try to put actual effort into the other cultures. The Astrians are one of many cultures that are going to be brutally murdering each other, and I want to put as much care and love into each one of them. So that way, whichever one you pick, you can brutally murder the other one. And be happy about it, and know that the other one, it has lots of culture and history that you're attempting to erase. You're attempting to... That was funny. Don't lie to me. He was famous like that lady who argued Rome never existed. What? Rome does exist. In fact, I love Roman history. It's actually what helped inspire the Antiquity Plus setting that is Terrestria. Because Terrestria is based on like there was no Dark Age point, more or less. Like, there were dark times. Like, the migratory period equivalency that happened in Terrestria happened 3 times. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Twice in, like, from the same region, and once from Corinos. They were very sad about it. Artemis Fowl, you're being dumb. You need to stop doing that. Now, remember... Does a savage consider himself a savage? No. From his point of view, he is the noble. you know, heroic lord dude. Everyone in their own eyes is the hero in their own story. Much like when I studied villains in real-life history to get inspiration for how to write villains as a whole, I actually looked up people like Stalin and Hitler. Now, Stalin was just kind of nutty, but Hitler was one of those cases where he was very much viewed himself as just. He was righteous. He thought he was doing the right thing, even though, you know, he led his country into absolute obliteration. But that's besides the point. All about figuring that stuff out. And generally, throughout the course of history, when you read any accounts, nobody really ever looks at it like, yeah, we're the filthy, dirty idiots that should lose. Like, they never think that, like, no, we should win. We're just. We're righteous. Or even if they're not just or righteous, they're like, no, we want Mun-Muns. We want Mun-Muns. And we're righteous for wanting them because we have the power to take them. I don't know what a Metatron is, but it sounds weird. I assume he was very angry in it. I imagine anybody... Honestly, I knew somebody who claimed that the Romans were a spacefaring civilization. Okay? Like, I already know what this is like. It's dumb. We're not gonna go into people that think stuff like that. Spacefaring intergalactic empire. Oh my god. Exalted Hordes would say that. He says the Romans were the evil ones. The horse tribes were just and virtuous. In their own culture's eyes, yes. Much in the same way that in our own history, the not only is the history written by the victor, but in some cases the victors are also influenced by the superior culture of their enemy. In the case of the Romans, what's fascinating is many of the tribes that settled on top of them ended up emulating aspects of them. Because while Romans were defeated militarily and geopolitically, they sort of won the cultural victory because their legacy would basically be superimposed on top of the others or influence the others to such a degree that everyone would emulate them. Rather fascinating. We all traveling in space. And that's true. It's on a planet that spins around circles. I mean, I've already done the solar system and where the solar system is located and everything. Like, it's all planned out, chat. The celestial bodies, they float around, they wobble around, they vibrate. Like, oh, I don't know if that's normal. Celeste isn't erased because she doesn't see it that way. She's like, there's Celeste people and then there's not Celeste people. And the people that aren't Celeste don't get to live. Don't get to live. Meanwhile, Squealy Kitty in the background. If there was no Dark Age, how would there be a Renaissance or an Enlightenment? I don't even know what you're talking about. Let's see. Being able to emulate good things others have come up with is necessary for any successful civilization. Yes. Generally, when you see somebody do something and it works, like some barbarian caveman is like starting a fire and you're like, what? He rubs stick together, start fire. You try it, you fuck up twice, but then third time's the charm, you get it. Like, whoa, I did it. I did fire too. I did. As simple as that little straw man is, that more or less makes sense. The fact that straw man can also be put on fire by rubbing two sticks together. A lot of people were unironically, we was Remans. Yes, that is actually a major thing that happened throughout history, where everyone was like, we was Remans. No, we was Remans. That's why I make the we was Remans joke, because that is such a true joke. The we was Kings thing is like a recent thing, but in medieval times it was we was Remans. Everyone was. You telling me Celeste is a supremacist of herself? So a narcissist? Does that make her more endearing? Probably not. Narcissistic traits are generally considered negative and not virtuous at all. The Huns got crushed by a giant German revolt after Attila died. They did. They also... The Huns weren't... See, the Huns were scary, right? Because they had cavalry. But, like, honestly, a lot of it boiled down to fear and other things. And when they finally had to face off the Romans in an actual proper field battle... It was the Huns that got beaten. Because the thing is, like, the Romans in a proper field battle, even in the late Roman army, they can do pretty well. The late Roman army, Legio Comitatenses or whatever, like, they're nothing to sneeze at. They're still top of the line, but dude lads. Now the Federati and all that crap, and Limitani border guards, like, those aren't going to do too well. But the Limitani are just there to, you know, stop little hordes, and basically the idea was to hold them in place so that the cohorts could get there. Is there a Black Death spell plague in this game that forces characters to pause the genocide campaigns? No. I'm not going to answer anything silly. I'm not going to say there's anything like that, because that's silly. I've already briefly described how magic works, so that should already be known as an answer. There's an answer to that question already. Problem is, most people find narcissistic traits endearing. What about a summon nuke spell? Neku Snapu. Neku fucking Snapu. My brain feels like it turned off because of those silly comments. Chat, this is your fault. You shall be punished. And you shall be punished accordingly, chat. But which one of you should be punished? Crab ranching. I see brick methamphetamine remembers. But they're called crubs, though. Crub people. I don't see much in chat. So ignoring the chat now. And talking to myself because it's easier. Well, Artemis Fowl, let me explain it to you. No. A spell can only work if they have a more or less simple understanding of what it is they're trying to achieve. So, spells and magic doesn't really exist, but spells kind of do. Like, the word magic is a dumb word to use in the context of Legends of Terrestrial, but we use it because it's an easy thing to be like, oh, it's magic, you know, it just works. Despite it having a clear defined energy source, a clear defined way of getting energy, and a clear, you know, science to how it works mechanically in the universe, it is a hard-coded system, is what we call it. There are limitations and things that have to be taken into effect when casting, and how casting works and all that. And much like anything, as a society or civilization advance, so too does its, call it, magic tech. Even though that's cringe. In the universe, it's more so called Illumine, but that's for another reason. Illumine. Illumine? Oh god, I can't even pronounce it. Illumine, I think. Illumine. I'm pretty sure. And it's because of a genetic dispossession that some people have that they're able to cast magic. And generally, it's not a good thing. But there's complications. That's called abnormalities, and that gets into a whole other mess. Mutations and other things that are a pretty big problem, because as one expects, when one becomes a living battery, it's not a very good thing. Can I join the Terran Federation in this game? See, these questions are silly, and I'm going to ignore them. Let's see. Keep people. That's also a silly. But less silly. But only by a little. Dracona seems to think that Celeste is a based lolly, not a based evil lolly. Even Tanya is a good nursey lolly. Ooh. I don't even know what that is. Celeste just wanted to go to art school. Oh no. That's quite terrible. Just wanted to go to art school, huh? So, moving on, talking about more important things. We talked about a little bit about the YouTube, actually, we didn't talk about YouTube. YouTube, more or less, is going to maintain its course. Again, we're going to play games that are more popular, so we're going to lean on that a lot more. That's why we're going to play Total War Warhammer 3, because I think it'll actually do well. Despite the fact that, you know, these shills and simps have been given early access and stuff like that. So it's going to suffocate a little bit because of that. Like, that's just something that's going to happen. Anything that has over-content saturation. The fact that there's already over-content saturation, and they flood the market with it, it's a good strategy on their part because it drowns out any possible criticism. The game will probably do okay, but it's strange that they're doing these tactics. Just weird. Just weird. But yeah. That's gonna be that. And I think, you know what, that kinda... sorta... little bit... pinch... She's no evil, Draconis. It's just those dirty... Brian, that's terrible. Brian, you will go into the dumpster now. And you shall not crawl out of that dumpster for several years. It's cold and smelly. At this time of year, I wouldn't be surprised. Don't even know what... Tell you what, chat, you can have one more thing. Because you've been a good little chat. Most of you, anyways. But that's only because most of you have been good and behaving. The rest of you will be executed. By Bubbles. True. Snoo Snoo. Now, Bubs looks like Bubette. Death by Snoo Snoo might be a legitimate option. Unfortunately, though, chat, I must tell you that you will be getting reamed quite hard because Bubbles is a dude. Alright, chat. You ready to look at something neato cheeto? This is the last cool thing I think we'll show. This is a work in progress, so we're starting to make serious headway towards getting the cover art of our game done. And this is looking quite good. What do you think? Pretty snazzy, huh? Sala and Show have done an excellent job with this. I'm very, very, very happy with how this one's turning out. Quite good. We're starting to get the art in place for all the things we need. Like, we'll get an OST cover, we'll get a couple other things, other art and stuff like that. It'll be quite great. And Bubs is into some pretty damn kinky stuff. That's true, Boog. You've heard it. But yes, we've got the logo nailed down. I'm saving the logo and the company logo for later. But the cover is nailed. This one's just a banger. It's got all the right vibes. It just feels oppressive, and I love it. Show and Sal make a pretty damn fine team. Be nice to Bubs, Brian. Bubs is a misunderstood little bub. Quite great. I wonder, chat. I wonder what chat will think when they know the truth. That they're all wrong. She's about to make the forbidden okay hand gesture. Okay, she wouldn't know it anyways. It's funny. Dreadfully so, chat. Dreadfully so. But Bubs no notice me, says Brian. What do you mean it doesn't notice you? Chat. What are you talking about? Shit. Does chat even know what chat's talking about? Does chat even know what chat is? Like, not really, to be honest with you, Kibs. I don't even know how we got here. Oh my god. They don't even know who they are. Like, Name Jeff. I do remember that. That was funny. And if it involves war crimes, it's probably good. What? Looks like no one knows. Brian is very sad. This is true, chat. This is true. The game will come along quite nicely, I think. And people will be very, very happy. I hope. My fingers are crossed. Everything we're developing seems to be high quality. But looks can be deceiving. I kid. Soon, Celeste will advocate for separating cultures into camps, a final solution to the question. Does Celeste know how to use showers and ovens? Well, she'll find out soon enough. Alright, chat. That seems like the conversation is degenerating into silly willies, which means that there's no point to be here anymore. There's only a point for me to wind down and get ready to do more worky things. Because we have, I think, expended all the good conversation that we can get out of you lazy gits. It's like, squeezed for conversation. That's true. I will give people that donated, if you DM me, the access to the Chamber of Secrets, and as soon as the stream ends, you'll be added, by the way, in the Discord server as you are moved to the correct rooms and whatnot, so it'll be great. We need Bubs to say the PogChamp thing. No playing games. It's not about playing games. It's time for me to go work. Time for me to go make money for the game again, even though we just did that. You need to do that again, because, well, game ain't gonna fund itself. Back to the wage cage. Indeed. I'll probably pop into the Discord and say hello for a bit and then mute half of you. Starting with Boog. By the way, have a good night, chat. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.